Hey, this is where I'm supposed to be singing, but I started late and I'm not ready, so this is impressive for me. It's far away in Australia. Soon will fate be kind, and I will be ready to welcome at last the girl that I left behind. Sweetheart, the starlight has bid you goodbye, murmured the youth one day. I'm off to the new land, my fortune to try, and I'm ready to sail away. Oh, must you depart now? This fair one did cry. I cannot let you go. Oh, yes, I must leave you, he gently replied, just for a while or so. And it's far away in Australia. Soon will fate be kind, and I will be ready to welcome at last the girl that I left behind. By the old cottage gate, waiting the whole day through. Angela's message comes over the wire, and she's hoping these words are true. Ho! Unsuccessful and fair love, I will be always true. And while I stay in this land far away, I've been building a home for you. And it's far away in Australia. Soon will fate be kind, and I will be ready to welcome at last the girl that I left behind. Tell her this preview recording is scuffed and she get fixed. What? Preview recording? What are you talking about? Do I sound like shit? Adventure. It's far away in Australia. Soon will fate be kind, and I will be ready to welcome at last the girl that I left behind. And it's far away in Australia. Soon will fate be kind, and I will be ready to welcome at last the girl that I left behind. Count, you're a bastard. Welcome in, Daisy. I got one more song to sing, and I'll welcome you in properly then. Near Banbridge Town in the county down, one evening last July, and down the Bowling Green came a sweet Colleen, and she smiled as she passed me by. She looked so neat in her two bare feet, and the sheen of her nut-brown hair. Such a wholesome elf, I'm ashamed of myself to make sure I was standing there. From Bantry Bay and the Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. As she onward sped, sure I scratched me head, and I looked at a feelin' rare, and I says I, to a passer-by, who's your maid with the nut-brown hair? He smiled at me, and he said to me, that's the gem of old Ireland's crown. Young Rosie McCann of the banks of the Banns is the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay to the Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. She'd soft brown eyes and a look so sly, and a smile like a rose in June, and she held each throat in her auburn throat, and she lilted lamentin' tunes. At a Lambeth dance she was in a trance, as she whirled through the lads of the town, and it broke my heart just to be apart from the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay to the Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. At the harvest fair she'd be surely there, so I dressed to me Sunday clothes, with me hat cocked right and me shoon shone bright from the smile of the nut-brown rose. No horse I'll yoke, no pipe I'll smoke, till the rust on me plough turn brown, and the smile in her eyes by the old fireside is the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay to Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen in the head in the county down. From Bantry Bay to Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. it's like if you were still like the car's still running. You also fuck boy, but you stopped, like you pulled over to the side of the road. As done from tilling the fields. Fuck. Engine's still running, and then you had someone remove the automatic transmission and put a manual transmission in. If I just say a slur, Daddy Mountain, weirdness, I will destroy you. Do you understand that? Hello, it's me, the man, the myth, the legend, the dwarf himself, Horatius the Dwarf. Welcome on in. Thank you for all coming in here today. It's a pleasure to see you. Yes, the first male VTuber. Hello, Peachy. Daisy Jones, it's so good to see you, dear. Thank you for the support and the raid today. It really means a ton. Welcome, everybody. You know me, the first male VTuber and will be the last VTuber. But welcome in. Thank you all for the support. Kirbelos, everybody, it's so good to see everyone, except for you, Count. Well fucking done, but also go fuck yourself. Rook, good to see you. Looking fresh today? Yeah, well, it's time for work, so we gotta put the apron on, you know? Put the hair up, put the glove on. And yes, we know there can only be one VTuber. The Age of Horror ends with the heat death of the universe. It's me, and true. Welcome in, Bapper. Otis. Gravy. Fucking Kerbelos and Kisa hanging out before the stream even fucking started. I appreciate all the support today, everybody. It's good to see everyone. Our Sunday streams are notoriously fantastic. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I got caught up talking to some folks. I ended up running late to stream by like 40 some seconds, which is fucking embarrassing. Not that like anybody but Count noticed, but I know his ass did. Agreed. Raid and run, but I have to go get it and touch grass. Yes, please, go take care of yourself, Daisy. I knew that you knew, yeah. Oh, man. I definitely worked out too much yesterday. My arms are fucking noodly. So much. Oh, God. Oh. So many, like, tricep strands are just like on fire today, and that's because I just did too many kettlebell swings yesterday. Turns out like 60 kettlebell swings is too many. Even stretched out over the course of the day, like 10 plus sets of 5 is fucking whew. It's rough, but they will rebuild stronger next time. We can do more. Again, thank you guys for not just Dubs the recommendation for the kettlebell, but you guys buying it and sending it to me. It means a ton. Kettlebell go we. This is correct. Welcome in, Meme. Good to see you. We'll probably shoot the shit as we often do for a good 20 or so minutes, and we'll get into the lecture thereafter. You know, we like to take our time with these. Lots of things to cover, and maybe if I'm feeling it, we'll go long, but still hyperfixated. That's understandable. Get your fixation on, dog. Enjoy your biting of Isaac.
Rock and stone!
Puppet Boo, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on into the mountain home. And now that you're following, you know some random loiter heading inside the mountain home, but I welcome guests here in the mine. Ugh. Getting some fat chocolate bar, but the size of the plate. But it tried breaking it off one row and it didn't snap along the groove. Oh, that sucks. Whizlock on Celador, good morning to you fellers. So now I have a Choco Dagger. I'm the opposite of hyperfixated. I can't brain on anything. Well, Celador, we're going to talk about exactly that today. So that's going to be cool. Hope you're ready to learn a lot about your executive functioning. You're making pierogies? Let's fucking go. What's in your pierogies? I gotta know. In my opinion, there are a lot of options, and some of them are way better than others. I think onion mashed potatoes are fucking, hard to beat. Hard to beat. Farmer's cheese and potato? Shit. That's a good pierogi right there. What's the pierogi? Hora needs the pernogi. Pernogi. There we go. Did you get new hands? No. My hands are the same. I mean, I have a glove on the one hand, but I've always had this since this model came out. I don't exactly have executive functioning, but I do have manager functioning. Ham and cheese pierogies are pretty good. But at that point, you're just having like a slightly healthier pizza roll. Man, I want fucking pierogies for dinner. God damn it. Might like tell Willow to make pierogies for dinner. I feel like I dimensionally slipped from a timeline where your hands were bare. I feel weird. I mean, look, I have one glove. I have one smithing glove that I can put on. Just the left hand. What do you mean you knew? All right, whatever. Tried pizza rolls and my tummy did not like them. Correct. What's the difference between a pierogi and a calzone stromboli? I would say nothing. But I think, frankly speaking, pierogies tend to be smaller. Like, you'd get a plate of pierogies, right? You'd get like 6 to 8 or like 4 to 7 pierogies on a plate, right? And then for a calzone, it's like a single large unit. You know, you get all calzone, and that's the meal. Where if you get pierogies, you don't get a pierogi, you get a plate of pierogies. That's my thing. That's true. There is, well, you can make a calzone with potato flour, but like, again, traditionally speaking, that's not how it's done. But that's really it. I like to be in the calzone. We all do. Calzones are delicious. And if you haven't had a calzone that you like, then you haven't had one with the good shit in it. What's up, Noble Bunny? I love that username. Oh, that's such a cute fucking emote. With Teiyu the goat emotes. Let's go. Gun to your head, steamed or fried pierogies? Steamed every time. Steamed every single time. No, listen, it's not negotiable. Like, I don't care if it's pierogies, I don't care if it's dumplings, I don't care if it's fucking gyoza. Steam that shit. Steamed dough is, in my opinion, a superior mouth experience for pockets of food. It's also healthier. Yes, that's a side bonus. But you can fry relatively healthily, but I'm not gonna get into that. I don't really need the crunch, is what I'm getting at. Your fave emotes? Hell yeah, super cute. I'm sorry, but pierogies need to be fried, IMO. But anything else steamed, I agree on that. Hey, that's fine. It's okay to have different opinions. Yes. See, that's what I like to do. I like a pan fry? Like a pan fried pierogi? I fuck with that. Ruined Web, steamed gyoza that gets a little time frying as a treat is my fave. That's not bad. Hey guys, how did your guys' lecture over Horatius's go? We talked about pierogies for 15 minutes. Oh, yes. Pierogi in caramelized onions is... Caramelized? Caramelized onions. Caramelized? Pfft. Ooh, excuse me. We talked about food. That's my favorite thing to do. A cooking technique for dumplings where they have to like a starch lace. That's interesting. I'm not sure I'm familiar. But like, sounds good. Yeah, sure, Mr. Meme, go ahead. Before we get into the lecture, this is the time. Crispy dumpling skirt. I do like edible skirts, so. No, I don't know what that means, and I won't expand on it, by the way. Just to be clear, I want to let that out real fast. A friend had a chimkin in Lego Fortnite and called him Mustard, then he despawned. That's a tragedy. That's a tragedy. Also, is that a Captain Falcor reference? Is there a name for that thing where you procrastinate doing something you really want to do? Actually, we're going to talk about that today. It does have a term. It's called a task initiation. And we have a cheese tully. Oh, Julie, rather. Really common problem people suffer from ADHD. Yes, that's correct. Monster Man. We talked about ADHD last month for the lecture. We'll be talking about it a little bit today as well. I was actually sad that he died. I bet that's a tragedy. All right, where's my super suit? Where are you? Is it this? Here it is. Thank you for the lurk, Otis. I appreciate it, my boy. I think breakfast pizza's good. I don't know that I've ever had like an honest to like attempt of breakfast pizza. Like I know what that is. It's just pizza with breakfast toppings on it, and I'd try it. I'd try it. But I'm not sure that I've ever had it. Alright, I think that fits. Also, nice to meet you. Popped in earlier raid, digging the dwarf aesthetic. You don't see that often. Thank you. Yeah, there's not single digits, but close to single digit dwarf YouTubers out there. I appreciate that. I'm Horatius. Welcome in. The tomato sauce for gravy for breathy pizza. It's super good. Probably. You ever have breakfast burrito? Literally this morning. I imagine it's essentially that what unfolded, right? Cinnamon roll pizza. Interesting. I see. I like my breakfast savory. Like I'm a big breakfast guy. Like I eat like sometimes I'll eat like a 1,000 calorie breakfast. I'm not kidding. Like I'll wake up at like 4:30. I'll have like a huge breakfast, and then I won't eat till like noon. Right? And then I'll have a big lunch, and then I don't always eat dinner. Like I'll get home from work and have like, you know, I don't know, like 300 to 500 calories when I get home as like a pseudo dinner, and then like that's it. Like I don't really eat often after like 5 p.m. You ever have Aussie pizza? If you explain what that is, I could probably tell you, but not by that name, no. Yeah, like a sandwich, yeah. I'll have something small when I get home. Okay, Aussie pizza has egg on it. Sounds good. Speaking of breakfast, you need to go get something. I'll be back to stink up chat. Hell yeah. I'm waiting my laundry to finish right now, actually. Cut this. Kisa's so good. Hey, can everyone in chat say Kisa's so good? Kisa's so good. I like to crack an egg. Gun? Your guns don't scare me, lady. Before it finishes baking. Categorization is not clean. A pizza might get. Kisa's so good. She's gonna DM me and be like, "Why are you like this?" Because Kisa's so good. Rook is so based. Based in what? She does have one of my favorite laughs on the planet. Like, we have a pizza that with prawns. I love pizza with prawns. Rook is so based. Smug. All right, shall we get into it, boyos? All right. What's it? This one? Yeah. want to change my framing just a little bit here. So when I gesticulate, you guys can see me talking with my hands. All right, you guys ready to get into it? What's a boyo? It's like BOIS, which is a gender-neutral term, but more friendly and less gender-neutrally. All right. Okay, real quick. I'm going to go take a piss. All right? How would you... I feel like you should get half moon glasses for your model for these streams. I'll ask my model maker about it. Yeah. We'll tell Shiver J about that one. I think that's a good idea. All right, I'm gonna go take a piss before we get started. So everyone take this time to go get some food, have a little bio break. I'll be back in like 1 minute. Are you ready? Okay, let me go piss. Alright. Also, I need like a talking stick. Like a like a .2 stick from my right hand here. Like whoosh. Here you'll see this Here you'll see this infographic that will teach you rubes the bare minimum of this basic psychological prospect. Please, use your eyes, not just your ears, and close your damn mouth. Might learn something if you do it enough. Like, that's... Okay, we're writing it down. Look at this graph. Every time I see it, makes me laugh. Alright. Oh, God. I'm the sexiest man alive. Alright, you guys ready? Just as a brief reminder, but when we get started into the stream, into the lecture proper, I'll be focused on that, but we'll talk about that. Anyway. Everybody, welcome to Psychology 102, lecture number 6, Executive Dysfunction. My name is Horatius Silverstone. Anyway, we have our rules for the lectures. You guys can see here, if you want to ask a question that's relevant to our current topic at hand, please do me the favor and raise a quiet hand by using the channel point redeemed to do so. Let me make sure that it's actually turned on real quick. It might not be. Go. And most of the other redeems will be turned off for the remainder of the lecture. Plenty of them will stay on, but most of the longer ones and the less easy to ingratiate into a lecture setting will be turned off. Okay. All right. If you have questions that are not on topic, I please ask that you save them, even type them, but save them in the chat. for the Q&A segment at the end of the stream. If you do raise your hand with the channel point redeem and you put your question in the chat, the mods will pin it to make sure that I see it. So don't keep posting it. I will get to it when I have the time. I will be interacting with chat. I should just focus on the lecture, but I literally can't not read chat. It's a problem. But much less than normal. You guys know the deal. When I get in the middle of these lectures or if I'm in a collab, it's not something I terribly focus on. Let's talk about it a little bit. I'm Horatius the Dwarf, EN VTuber by trade. I am a mental health professional. I've been in the field for over 7 years. Coming up on 10 pretty soon. I'm currently employed as a special education teacher. I have experience with ABA, which is Applied Behavioral Analysis. I don't like a lot of ABA. It sucks. It's not, whatever. This is not what that stream is about. I've done addiction counseling, behavior management, case management. I've done case manager work, rather. One-on-one behavioral aid in educational settings. I've done intensive in-home crisis work, crisis management, conflict resolution, and cognitive behavioral therapy. So I've done a lot, but I maintain that I am not licensed to practice mental health in your country or territory. I am obviously licensed to practice mental health where I do live, and that's not where I live is not the biggest secret on these streams. But even if you guys do live in the same place and you know that I live in the same place as you, I am not your therapist. I am not licensed to be your mental health professional. So just understand that, and we can keep that boundary nice and secure. Remember, we have our goals here. The purpose of these streams is to raise awareness of mental health in the streaming community. It's to educate people on the basics of psychology and to entertain people and share my personal experiences in the field. Disclaimer, take what you hear and rehear and improvise. And while much I'll be sharing is fact, it will also be slathered in my own opinions. This is to cover my ethics and to not do unjust harm with people in my efforts here. Please, really, I mean that last part in very strong earnest. Like, I want you guys to learn stuff. I want you guys to enjoy what you hear today. But bear in mind that, like, the most important part about psychology is that you take the universal things that you hear and then you apply it through the filter of your own life experience and your own personal, like, trauma and, like, everything that makes you you. So, when we talk about executive dysfunction today, we're going to be talking about a lot of pretty personal, pretty specific stuff, but we're also going to get into the weeds on how things are really, really vague in executive dysfunction, and they're not always super accurate. So if you see stuff today that you're like, oh, I do that, or this is something that I struggle with, understand that that's like, that doesn't mean you have executive dysfunction. It just means that you have those symptoms and that you should look into that to see if that's actually the case. But we'll get into that later. Welcome in, Miku Girl. I really appreciate the follow. We're getting into our lecture here about executive dysfunction. My name is Horatius Silverstone. So here's our pre-lecture quiz. We're going to be able to answer all 5 of these questions at the end of by the end of the lecture. So please make sure you keep these in mind. We will be answering what is executive function / what's executive dysfunction. What is part of the brain that executive functions occur? Sorry, what part of the brain does that occur? What is and what is not executive dysfunction? What are some of the psychophysiological factors of executive dysfunction? And 5, why does executive dysfunction get lumped into many people's symptom lists? All that and more is the things we'll be getting into today. All right, so let's define executive function, all right? As we go through this slide, you see the little activity time there on the top right. Please go ahead and give that a read. If any of these things feel familiar, do some introspection, and let's talk about it. So what is executive dysfunction? Executive dysfunction is a consistent or a lack of consistency in the operation of one's executive functioning. Okay, but what does executive functioning mean? Which I think is a really important part of this lecture. We're going to spend a fair amount of time here because I hear people use this term a lot, and I don't think most folks understand what it means because it has a lot of different meanings in different circumstances. So executive functioning is a set of cognitive skills or processes that are necessary for an individual's control over their behavior. Specifically, we're talking about stuff that people do in their day-to-day lives. So the categories for executive functions are, the fucking problem with this is, like, I found, like, a bunch of different infographics for this, and almost every single one of them had different names for some of these. So here's one that I like. It's not perfect. There are other ones that I like differently for different reasons, but we can only show so many fucking pictures. So I'll explain. So we have flexible thinking. We have working memory, self-monitoring, planning and prioritizing, task initiation, organization, impulse control, and emotion control. You're going to see some consistencies here. We're talking about stability a lot, right? So let's talk about what flexible thinking is. Flexible thinking is adjusting your behavior to unexpected changes. So let's say every single day, or like let's say with a regularity, 3+ times a week, or even just once, but it's the same time in the same place every week. You go to a store, right? And you walk into the store and you go, I get my coffee, I get a snack, and I get something for later. That's what I go into my store for. It's my favorite corner store. It's always got my favorite shit in the exact same spot. It's been there for months. So when I walk in there, you could blindfold me when I walk into this corner store, and I will walk out with my coffee, with my snack, and my thing for later, because I know where my shit is. Flexible thinking comes into this problem when you walk in and your favorite flavor of coffee is out. So you have to go, okay, what will I get instead? What's my next pick? Or maybe will I not get a coffee today? Maybe this is a chance to try something different. Maybe I'll get an energy drink, or maybe I'll get a coffee in a can, or maybe I'll get a tea or something. Maybe I'll get some fruit juice or just water. Flexible thinking comes in when unexpected things happen, and you have to sort of flex your critical thinking to make another choice or to do something else. Working memory is, I'm going to use some D&D stuff here. Working memory, so there's a bunch of different states of memory. I literally studied memory very extensively. So you have your short term, your long term, and your working memory are kind of like the 3 categories of memory. So when you experience something, you put it into short-term memory or you lose it immediately. That's just to help us not overload our brain with, holy shit, did you know that one piece of the wood graining on this single panel on the east side of the room that I just walked into is slightly askew? That's not important information. It's not even going to make it into your short-term memory, right? Or you walk in and you're like, wow, look at this beautiful wood panel wall. That's kind of pretty. Goes into your short-term memory. Maybe it'll make it to the long-term memory because you really like that experience. But point is, working memory is like for a wizard. Wizards have cantrips, which are level 0 spells, which they don't even need their spell book to cast. These are the spells that are so ingrained, so well practiced that they are always available. Your working memory is kind of like an SSD. It's your cantrips. Your working memory is shit you can always call on, okay? It's key information in your mind while you're using it, and being able to repeatedly recall it very easily. So it's like I said, it's your solid state drive, Self-monitoring or self-awareness to know how one is doing in your moment. Like, there are times, let's give you guys another simple example here. You're walking down the road, or you're walking in your house, I'll say, and you feel something wet on your leg, and you look down and you're bleeding, right? Maybe you just brushed against the sharp edge of a table or a sharp edge of something, and you're not hurt. You're not gonna die. It's not a traumatic, injury. It's gonna heal up in a couple of days. No big deal. But you're bleeding, and you go, huh? That process, that cognitive process where your body just sort of does a full check-in every few seconds, that's self-monitoring on a subconscious level, right? So you stop, you have a little, maybe 1 second freak out, you realize that it's not that big of a deal, and you go, okay, just gonna walk over to the bathroom, gonna clean up that blood, gonna put a little band-aid on it, I'm good. That I'm good afterwards, that's you self-checking in. That's being aware of how you are feeling and coming to grips with that. That's you self-monitoring your emotional state, as it were. Planning and prioritizing. This is time management. This is looking at your day and be like, I got 5 hours of free time. What do I do with that? Well, I'm going to hang out with my buddy Mark Mute. We're going to play some video games for an hour or two. And then after that, I got to record something. And then I got to go take a shit because I had apparently planned my shits hours in advance. Then I'm going to go kiss my wife. And then we're going to go make dinner. And then I'm going to go to bed. Planning and prioritizing, pretty simple, pretty straightforward timelining of things. Task initiation. Mr. Meme, we were talking about this earlier. So task initiation, I think, is more accurate. That's fair marked. That's a good VRAM there. Yeah. Task initiation is the actual spark of starting a project. I wrote down, because of your guys' suggestions, I wrote down half moon glasses and talking stick props for the model, right? I wrote that down, right? But I wrote that down to help me with task initiation later, because after stream, if I don't remember to reach out to fucking ShiverJ and initiate that, then it's never gonna fucking happen. So, yeah, I gotta start that problem. I gotta start that process, rather. So, organization. A very broad thing, but organization is keeping track of all the different shit in your life. It's keeping track of the timeline that you made earlier to know that you have a pre-planned shit in 5 hours. It's, okay, I gotta make sure that I package stuff for lunch tomorrow. It's keeping track of, like, your physical space. I'm realizing that I keep, leaving shit in my office, and now I've got all this fucking garbage here everywhere. I should clean up. Putting a pen in that. I'll do that later. Like, I've been pushing myself really hard recently. I'm kind of sad about that. I'm feeling a little bit of burnout. We're gonna put a pen in that. Organizing these thoughts, both like physical and mental, is organization. Impulse control is very simple. It's my favorite example for impulse control is impulse buying. If you go to the checkout lane for a store and you're gonna go buy the shit that you've already picked out, but they've got cheap candy and they've got cheap drinks and they've got gum and shit. That's it. Those items are placed there because they're small, easy to pick up, singular units that are gonna play on your lack of impulse control for you to buy those things in the moment. I didn't think that was gonna thing. Baron, you're sweet. Flattery will get you everywhere, lady. You know that. Emotional control, keeping your feelings in check. That moment just now where Marin made a god damn it meme, where someone made a very coy remark. Me getting flustered at that remark. That's me having emotional control. If getting a little bit more crude, if you walk down the street and it's 50 years ago and a pretty person walks by and you go, that is a lack of emotional control. It's impulse control in a different way, essentially. But yeah, those are the major notes of executive functioning. And everyone who has executive dysfunction, which is to say people who have disruption to their executive functioning, will not always struggle with the same parts of this. There are people with executive dysfunction that struggle with the organization of things, that struggle with planning, that struggle with task initiation. There's people who struggle with monitoring their own emotions and their own stability in their emotions. All of these things can play a role, but none of them are guaranteed. Executive dysfunction is troublesome because it's kind of a wide net of cognitive disruptions that someone might be suffering through. So now that we've defined what executive functioning is, what's executive dysfunction? So, as mentioned before, it's when executive function becomes... it is when executive functions become dysfunctional. Alright, but what does dysfunctional mean? So, I've defined dysfunction dozens and dozens of times on these lectures. I'll do it again because it's important. It's very simple. Break the word down. It is dysfunction. Your function has become disorderly. Blah. So, they all sound a little too familiar. Yeah. I would honestly say, if I'm being 100%, I would say most people on the planet, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more later, most people on the planet, I don't have a statistic to back this up, this is just a gut feeling, most people on the planet have some kind of executive dysfunction. That there is something that they genuinely struggle with. And sometimes it's due to a lack of skill or refinement of that skill. Like, there are people who literally, like, getting a business degree is setting you up to be a like, some of these people just go out and their entire job is project management. That's a fucking 6-figure job depending upon the company you work for, and your whole fucking thing is, can you plan, prioritize, and organize? Can you do these two things? We will pay you $100,000 to do those two things for us. Like, that's how important executive functioning is. Alright. Okay, so what does dysfunctional mean? It means a disruption in function. And this is important. If you are just walking through your fucking life, doing your shit, and you look at something or read something and you forget and you're like, I really wished I had remembered what that was about. Having a spotty memory from time to time, or being a little bit of procrastinator every now and then, this is not dysfunction. That is something, that is a skill you struggle with. You struggle with task initiation. That does not mean you have executive dysfunction. Executive dysfunction is when your day-to-day life is disrupted because of your executive troubles. So, like, I don't like it when people say, oh, I'm a procrastinator, that's my executive dysfunction. I'm like, no, go fuck yourself. You just have trouble holding yourself to account. Like, that's literally a skill issue. Sometimes things are literally skill issues. But if it's like, I procrastinate so often that I lost a job, or my wife left me, or my friends turn their backs on me because I don't do shit, that's procrastination to a point where it's causing you dysfunction, where it's literally becoming actively detrimental to your life's quality. That's when it's dysfunction, and that's when I think these terms should be used. Excuse me. Welcome in, everybody. So, it's kind of normal. Pikachu face. Like I said, this stuff just happens. Okay, Horatius complicated psychology concept, shed metaphor. Let's go. Hit you with the shed. So, executive dysfunction is kind of like building a shed, where when you're building the shed, right, you go and you're like, I'm going to build this shed, and then you have the ability to start the project, you have some money set aside, you're all ready to go, you paid someone to lay down some foundation for you, because you don't have the tools and stuff. So, like, you hired a guy, you paid him a couple $100, he came out, dug some hole in the ground, and set posts, right? You can use these set posts to build the rest of your shed off of this, right? So you've done some of the things we've talked about. You've established a beginning to your project, and then, we can't start this week because of the rain. Okay. So you throw a tarp over your shit, right? A year passes, and your shed's half built. Most of the hardware that you purchased has either rotted from exposure to outside, or has rusted from, poor maintenance. And now you're like, oh, I finally have time to get back to my shed. Well, I gotta fucking start all over again because I've been so neglectful and so misappropriating my focus on this that I gotta start all over because the whole thing's fucking ruined. That's dysfunction, where you had something. You could have accomplished it. You wanted to, and then you fucking drop the ball. And dropping a ball is fine. Balls bounce most of the time, right? But dropping a ball so hard that it you can't catch it again, and it lays on the ground, it flattens because of the pressure shift over the course of multiple seasons, that's dysfunction. That's when you're not getting your shit accomplished. Countess Veronia, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on into the mountain home. Thank you kindly. We're talking about executive dysfunction today, so I hope you're ready to feel challenged. Only with the intent to kill. Alright, so let's talk about executive dysfunction symptoms, right? Because we did talk about executive dysfunction. Alright, we talked about what executive functioning is, and obviously we can infer what executive dysfunction might be, but here's another one. I'm glad, Countess. Welcome in. So, I have some of these. My question to you all is, what does dysfunction feel like to you? Because everyone a lot of people feel it differently, and some of the things on this slide might resonate really strongly with some of you, and a lot of people in this lecture so far have already mentioned that the things that we've been talking about hit a little close to home. But you might be surprised just how unique some of these sensations are, and just how common others are. So think about how some of these things feel kind of close to home. Gravegator, see your raised hand. Go ahead and pose your question. To me, though, it's not that big of a deal. Many of these happens to everybody, right? We'll get into how to overcome these later. We've got struggling between tasks, focusing too much on one thing. I like to call that hocus pocus hyperfocus. Easily distractible. Problems with impulse control. That's where like addiction comes into play, and we're going to talk about how addiction sort of feeds into executive dysfunction and how it sort of becomes a whirlpool. Anyway, it's like a whole problem. Daydreaming or spacing out when you shouldn't be. Trouble starting difficult or boring tasks. So would you say depression is a possible cause of temporary executive dysfunction? Exactly that. Yes, specifically the metacognition stuff. We haven't really talked about metacognition, but essentially metacognition or metathink or thinking about thinking is where you it can fall into a couple of these categories here, like working memory. You have to think about what your working memory is sometimes. Self-monitoring is thinking about how you're feeling. So depression can absolutely cause temporary or even long-term executive dysfunction, and we're going to talk about that a bit more later when we get to the many causes of executive dysfunction. But yeah, the shorthand is yes. Depression can cause executive dysfunction. So yeah. Okay, so I want you guys to think about this. Yes, him Grimwald. That is him. Grimwald. I don't know why I struggle with that. Yes, that's exactly right. Hocus Pocus, Hyper Focus. Okay, that's cute. I like that. I call one of my students. So I have nicknames for all of my students every year, and one of them I call when I can't, because I can't say his name. That would be a breach of ethics and HIPAA. So, like, when I'm referring to him at home or whatever, like, to you guys, I'll call him, and then Hocus Pocus Hyper Focus was doing this. That's, like, my little nickname for him. And every single year I have a kid who I call that because Hyper Focus is rough. Fix your brain? No. I can't and I won't. I can arm you with the knowledge. That's my goal here, Legion. I'll go back to this, dog, because this is important. The purpose of this stream is to raise awareness of mental health in the streaming world, to educate people the basis of psychology, and entertain and share my experience. I want you to take what you hear and improvise it to work for you. I'm not your therapist. I never will be, but I can help you understand what you need to know to get started on your own path. There. So let's break down what executive dysfunction is, physiologically speaking. So how does it work? How does it impact our bodies? Trick question. It's actually the other way around. So it's not that having executive dysfunction causes trouble on your body, like being ADHD and having like other kinds of like arousal disorders where your body is always in these like elevated or dampened states of arousal. Executive dysfunction is kind of the other way around. So in this little blurb here, we have the frontal lobe. You can ignore Broca's area. That's about language and not really that relevant, but this is the best picture that I could find that has a picture pointing to the frontal lobe and describing all of this shit that has so much to do with executive functioning and how our frontal lobe has a lot to do with it. So if something happens to our frontal lobe, spoilers, it's going to give you probably some executive dysfunction, or at least that's something you should be looking out for. Since the majority of our cognition happens in the frontal lobe, damage to it can often be a source of executive dysfunction. However, many of the previously mentioned symptoms can be misattributed to other diagnoses. In short, executive dysfunction can be and often is comorbid. Here's a little snippet that I grabbed from Wikipedia. Comorbidity for executive dysfunction: flexibility problems are often linked to anxiety, and metacognition problems are often linked to depression. So, going back to Gravy Gator's question earlier, depression can absolutely cause some executive dysfunction. More often than not, it's focused on metacognition problems, but it can be more than that. So here we have where can executive dysfunction come from? Again, before I get into this massive list and we talk about these things, the point here is that the brain is a resilient, tough little bastard. But if it sustains permanent damage, it may manifest itself in executive dysfunction, and this can be short or long term, or even lifelong. So it can come from many places, and as I stated, often comorbids with other mental health disorders such as, or ergo, addiction. We which is why we talked about how it sucks to have poor impulse control due to executive dysfunction, which leads you to then indulge in your addictive substances more often, which in turn makes you more reliant on the addictive substance, ergo it reduces your ability to have good impulse control. Regarding this, it's a fucking whirlpool, and it's bad. When I worked in addiction counseling, I saw that shit a lot. I cannot tell you how often I would work with people who had addictive problems and just had zero impulse control, and how that can really damage attempts to help them therapeutically, but goddamn, like, that's very real. People in therapy will have the impulse control or the lack of impulse control to be like, yeah, doc, that's super good, love that, really smart, I will do that. And then they walk out, and then the first time they have the chance to have a bottle of booze, they go, yeah, that was some really cool stuff that Horatius said, but ooh, look, liquor. And then there they got off to the fucking races, as it were. Depression, like we mentioned earlier through Gravy Gator's question, depression is absolutely a factor. Compulsive disorders, not just obsessive compulsive, but like attention deficit disorders as well. And there's so many other fucking mental health diagnoses and disorders that can really manifest symptoms that are executive dysfunction in nature. But also, and this is important, damage to the brain. We mentioned this earlier, but something like Huntington's disease, where you have damaged neurons. One of the main ways that Huntington's disease can affect somebody is that it fucks with their aim. Like they can't aim straight. Their ability to like maintain a steady connection is literally severed because their neurons are damaged. Brain tumors. If someone has a tumor in their brain, that's going to fuck with their executive dysfunctioning. Alzheimer's disease, epilepsy, dementia. If you have multiple sclerosis, that's going to fuck with it. And then this is important. Even like raw physical trauma, like if like someone in chat mentioned already, getting hit in the head a lot or a lot of concussions, that can cause oxygen deprivation trauma that can lead to damage to the frontal lobe. And if you have damage to the frontal lobe, I promise you, the odds of you having executive dysfunction troubles are really high. Obviously not guaranteed. I've had my fair share of concussions. Not that I'm to say that I'm without executive function troubles, but I'm not executive dysfunctional. Carbon monoxide poisoning, like anything like that, anything that can damage your brain can lead to executive dysfunctioning. Will it always? No, but it can, and it will exacerbate problems that you already have. Can emotional trauma cause this damage? I mean, it depends. Emotional trauma is so hyper-specific, Otis. So, like, if I can give you an example. Let's say you have some post-traumatic stress disorder concerning timeliness, let's say, right? And therefore you associate timeliness and punctuality with a lot of fear and anxiety and trauma. So you are super on point all the fucking time, right? Or you're the opposite, where you're chronically fucking late. Both of these sides of that coin are going to lead you to having trouble with prioritizing and planning your day, and timelines in particular. So I would say yes, but I wouldn't say that you have executive dysfunction because you have PTSD or emotional trauma in this situation, Otis. I would say due to the specific machinations of that PTSD or emotional trauma, it is manifested in a way that resembles that. That would be my take there. I hope that helps. So here's a recent study, The Future of Research on Executive Function and Its Development, an introduction to the special issue. Over the last several decades, research on executive function in children has flourished, producing a wealth of empirical findings. These findings have raised many theoretical and methodological findings. These findings have raised many theoretical and methodological questions that warrant attention and are addressed to this special issue. This introduction to the special issue reviews some of the recent history of the field and before introducing the 7 target articles. We introduce these articles in the context of current theological and methodological issues, domain generally versus domain specificity to executive function, ecological and cultural validity to executive function measures, executive function and training and transfer, and the nature of relations between executive function and the achievement of and other outcomes. This diverse set of articles collectively provides many fresh, testable ideas that promise to advance the field and usher in the next wave of theory-guided executive function research. So, I recommend that you guys take a look at this one by Doble and Mueller, because this is a meta analysis of a bunch of other people who have talked about it, and I think it's really fucking cool, and there's a lot of cool stuff in here. I generally recommend you guys go take a look. I looked down at my coffee and it looks creamier than normal because normally I just have black coffee. And I forgot I put a Werther's Original in my cup that has since completely dissolved. Alright, so as we always ask when we're getting to the tail end of this lecture is, what do we do with this Eldritch Truth? Executive dysfunction is a common trial of existence. As we wander through life, the odds of us bumping into this are rather significant. Sometimes it is short-lived tribulation, and other folks live their whole lives wrestling with it. One of the main troubles that executive dysfunction can sow in people is perspective-taking troubles. If we are armed with a basic understanding, we can identify it better in ourselves and in others. This prepares us to not just navigate our own lives, but the lives of others as we encounter better. And this is a quote from Horatius Silverstone. You cannot actually walk a mile in someone else's shoes. You would first have to steal their shoes and then wear them, and you don't know, they might have foot fungus problems. Ick. It's a little droplet of wisdom for you. So here's our post-lecture quiz. Turning to you guys in chat. What is executive function? Go ahead and type your answers, and I'll tell you to post it when. So type your answers out, but don't hit enter until we're done. Well, what is executive function? Who remembers? And use your own words. I'm gonna take a sip of water while you guys jot this down. All right. Go ahead and post them now. Some people might still be typing out their answers, but go ahead. What is executive function in your own words? Focus and willpower. Executive function is chronic inability to get shit done. When executive function is disrupted, and executive function is this thing where your frontal lobe is like, this would be a smart thing to do, bro, not that shit, this shit. Yeah. Was like, you got that. Yeah, that's dysfunction. I'm asking you guys, what is executive function? I'm curious to see. I'm still looking for it. Focus and willpower is not function. Parts of the brain to effectively communicate with the other parts of the brain. Sort of. Yes, that's pretty close. Doing stuff. Nice, Kisa. The ability to coordinate and control your behaviors. The ability to execute tasks in a timely, repetitive manner. Non-silly Billy disorder. Don't be such a silly Billy. It is a brain that keeps you from focusing and doing stuff on an airplane, going around fucking up the focus plane. This on yeah. So I'll review, since there seems to be a lot of people all over the place on this one. So, executive functions are a set of cognitive skills and processes that are necessary for an individual's control over their own behavior and choices. So it's a set of cognitive skills and processes that you need to fulfill your daily life. Whereas executive dysfunction is a disruption of your executive functioning skills and this is important, to an extent by which you can no longer manage your day-to-day life in a consistent manner. Everyone has hard days where they can't get anything done. That does not mean you have executive dysfunction. Executive dysfunction is when it's sort of a chronic situation where it is affecting your life on a major scale. You can even have like episodes of executive dysfunction where that's that like one day situation perhaps. But executive function is a set of cognitive skills and processes that are necessary for your control over your behavior. This is stability, this is planning, this is metacognition. Feel attacked? Yeah, welcome to it. So, what part of the brain does executive function occur? What parts of the brain does executive function occur in? The frontal lobe? That's the answer I'm looking for, but there is more. There is... What is it called? Basal ganglia? Yeah, this little fucking doofus part of the brain. The basal ganglia also has a lot to do with a lot of so the answer is twofold. It's the frontal lobe, good, full credit for the people who said frontal lobe, but it's also this core section, the deepest core of your brain. This is the basal ganglia. He does a lot of stuff. We didn't talk about him, but fuck, he's complicated. The gangbang lollipop tart, yeah. What is, and then also what is not executive dysfunction? I kind of just gave you that answer. But what is and what isn't executive dysfunction? It's alright, I think I'm going to do something special today with the lecture. Think Areno Kiza, not actually attacked, just been slowly gathering more information over the years, which applies for better or for worse. Well, I'm glad. Information's fucking perfect. It's silly Billy disorder. Okay. But so what isn't executive dysfunction? That's what I'll ask. I'll focus on that question. What isn't? It's a good answer, meme. Being lazy or procrastination is not executive dysfunction. Fantastic answer, Blue Rook. It's not prioritizing doing work or proper relaxation over things like work in progress for fun. Executive is basically your ability to self-manage, disruptive. Yep, good. Executive is struggling with planning, focus, and destination tasks. It's not laziness or a choice. Having moments when you cannot do what I mentioned before, and only moments. When you decide to do lazy Sunday. Yeah, these are all fantastic answers. And I honestly, very proud of you guys using your own words. Not seeing a whole lot of copy pasta here. I'm going to wait until the ad's over. Someone let me know when the ads are over. If you're in ads. I don't know how I would... Never mind. It's the dwarf. It's
the dwarf. Java ho 1 peepo Joe point.
It's the dwarf, baby. So you're not even resting? Oh, I'll tell you, buddy. You gotta take care of yourself, buddy. All right. So, my last one here. Oh, sorry, fourth question. What are some of the physiological factors of executive dysfunction? And again, physiological means the physical. How does your body affect executive dysfunction? And why is that such an important connection with executive dysfunction? Being stuck in bed sounds nice until you realize your brain is screaming about the 10 million chores you need to get done. Fucking true. Because the frontal lobe does the thing, the frontal lobe is damaged, you can't do the thing as good. Yep, honestly, Tayu, full credit. Like, listen, if that's what people take away from this, that's good enough. Honestly. Lack of energy or motivation, don't call me out like this. Zumi is not able to focus. Sorta, yeah. I am in it right now. Although you were asking for what ways executive manifestation, I was like, stress? Damage to the brain, honestly. It's damage to the brain and a plethora of mental health disorders. So who remembers one of the mental health disorders that can cause executive dysfunction? That's my follow-up here. I have brain damage. You probably have executive dysfunction problems then. Depression, correct. Head trauma, yep. Alzheimer's, epilepsy, yep. Correct. Lead to executive dysfunction. And bonus credit to people who can tell me, because we did specify this, okay? Who can tell me the most commonly associated executive dysfunction with depression? Meta what? It's meta what? Talked about it briefly. Metacognition, hell yeah. Bonus points to Tayu and Gravy. Blue Rook as well. Minded in the topic, I get hit with an ad about garlic butter burgers. Heavenly Raid, yep. Metacognition. Sure, this is sarcasm. Hell yeah. Good job, everybody. I'm glad you guys got that one. Garlic butter burgers. No idea what that is. Metacognition is where you think about thinking. So, like, here. Metacognition would be like working memory, flexible thinking. It would be like self-monitoring, thinking about your own thought, emotional checks. It's a little bit of a lot of different things. It's metacognitive stuff. Is thinking about your own thoughts. Doing racing in between focusing two streams on at once. You're doing a great job, buddy. All right. And we already answered this question. I want to see if you guys can connect this. Why does executive dysfunction get lumped into so many people's symptom list? Why does that happen? We know the answer. We didn't explicitly say it, but you guys know the answer. I'll tell you that. Why does executive dysfunction so frequently get lumped into many people's symptom lists? The effort to dump that chompy garlic. Because it gets conflated with something else. Yeah, that's part of it. With various mental health and neurological conditions, let's go Celador with the full textbook ass answer. I love it. Awesome job. Yeah, no, those are both correct answers, Aoife and Celador. It acts like depression and other things because it's a lollipop tart in the inside of your brain. You're connecting stuff, and I like that. Lead to managing your life. That's kind of what disorders are all about, right? Mood disorder can always manage your moods to the point where it destroys your quality of life. Yeah. No, great answers, everybody. All right, so we're talking about late May now. We're going to have another lecture because this lecture should have happened last week or the week before in April, but it didn't. So this next one, we're going to do copium or coping skills, and we'll be starting it in late May. So in a couple of weeks, we'll do another one of these about copium. I have a lot of things to say about it. Here's a lot of the other ones that are on the docket for the future. We've got hyper-specific cognitive loopholes, cultural psychology, ego, laziness, dysphoria, motivation, the psychology of sex. Maybe we'll go back and revisit a couple of old topics like sleep and stress. The psychology of video games. We're going to talk about personalities. We're going to talk about mental health in the workplace, eating disorders, cognitive distortions, loneliness, ethics of psychology, relationships, cult leaders, bonus points if you don't mention CAB, and seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. The copium den babbling about New World not being a dead game. True. All right, I'm going to open the doors to the Q&A. Everyone can go ahead and just post your questions now. I'm looking forward to the SAD. It comes every year. Catastrophizing? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yeah, that one we'll talk about catastrophizing. It'll talk about doom scrolling, that sort of thing. What are some common treatments for executive dysfunction? A lot of that, Aoife, comes from... first, you have to define where your executive dysfunction is coming from, right? So executive dysfunction can come from a lot of places. So a big thing, Aoife, is diagnostics to determine where your dysfunction's coming from. Because if it's coming from something like an addiction problem, then you'll just go through the normal route of addiction therapy, and hopefully in the process, as you address your addiction or whatever is comorbiding your situation will get addressed, and then as that situation gets handled, in turn your executive function will improve. Can a job where you spend a lot of time having to remember, coordinate, and immediately drop information lead to executive dysfunction symptoms in other areas? Like stress. So the answer to that, Mark Mute, is, and this is like my favorite psychology thing, is stress causes everything. And that's the most accurate and least helpful answer that I can give you. Because the answer is yes, it can. Absolutely. Stress causes everything. So if you're over fucking stressed and you're burning yourself up at the crisp, then yeah, those things are going to creep up because you're not rested, you're not taking care of yourself, you're stressed out, like all that shit. What is the course for treatment for executive dysfunction caused by trauma? Depends on the nature of the trauma. If it's a physical trauma, like if you are literally someone with Huntington's disease, they've got processes for that. If you have epilepsy problems, they've got things for that. Can extreme stress cause brain damage? Listen, Legion, I'm gonna repeat it. Hold on. Stress can cause everything. Stress can cause everything. Stress can cause everything. I don't mean to make a joke out of that because it's really sad and very true. But yeah, stress can cause that. It can cause everything. Also, thank you, Mark Mute. What can stress cause, though? Everything. It's wild how much people's brains get almost addicted to the implication of danger in the world. It's like our survival lizard brain wants to register all potential dangers to our life or livelihood and treat it as critically as though it's a serious injury or impairment. When in society most things are not quite that common or problematic, it's like the trope of people saying in their homes because they're convinced a freak accident will kill them at a moment's notice if they leave. That's not a question, but it's a very broad thought. New brainworm unlocked? Hell yeah. I've had trouble finding treatment since the major symptom I've been experiencing has been memory loss, and the neurologists I've spoken with don't want to treat me because I was too young. That's fair. That's shitty. Get a second opinion. I don't know what your options are in that regard, but yeah, you should definitely get that looked at. Because memory loss can come from a lot of places, and they should keep looking until they know why, and then they can hopefully put you on some kind of treatment plan to address that. You specified that you wouldn't diagnose executive difficulties as executive dysfunction if it's a result of PTSD, right? Why is that? That's not what I said. I would say, I'll specify, because maybe I did say that and I didn't mean to. Why is that? Is it even a diagnosis in itself? So, no. Executive dysfunction is not a diagnosis. Executive dysfunction is a symptom. It can be caused by this slide worth of shit. But the reason, Tayu, is you would say that you are someone who is diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and one of the premier symptoms that you're experiencing that's causing you a detriment to your quality of life is executive dysfunction. That would be how I would word that, but other people might word it differently. Also, you don't need to repeat your questions. I saw it. Turn it into a sound bit so you can play it whenever it's relevant. Oh, God. I went through the list over a dozen neurologists, but the one that previously treated me relocated. That sucks. Yeah, when you've got too many mental connections to anxiety and stuff, you really have to take a breath and let your logic catch up. You're good, Tayu. You're excited, and that's fine. These streams are built for that sort of thing. I totally feel you. All right. All right. All right. Salty Jump stress got me acting up. Thinking the worms are back. Yeah, probably. All right, so we are going to chill out here at the top, and I think I'm gonna, hang out and we're gonna just talk openly about executive dysfunction for a while, and then I think I'm gonna do something that I haven't done before. And I'm doing this in the interest of having more people catch the lecture live, and that's I'm gonna sit here and hang out, and then in about 20 or 30 minutes, we're gonna do the lecture again. I'm curious as to what you guys think about that approach.
Mr. Meme
It's something
gifted a
I've been
tier
thinking
1
about for
sub
a
to
while.
J-Cults. They have given 57 gift subs in the channel.
I'm very curious. Let's see here. End up being essentially being like, well, you've asked yourself all the right questions, so I don't know what to tell you, more or less. At least 2 were very close to that as a quote. Sounds like you have really shitty therapists, Spooks. That's my take. Sorry, I guess you're really good at this. Have you thought about becoming a teacher? I currently am a teacher. Yeah, I currently work as a special education teacher. Let's see. J Cults, longtime lurk, first time popping in, wanted to piggyback to the prior question regarding rapid processing / discarding of information related to executive dysfunction. Recently started a job as an engineer and noticed some general overload between picking up company processes, formatting, and the high level of precision needed. Are there any tricks I should implement moving forward, creating sources for reference, to prevent early burnout or anxiety? Yes, pace, pace, pace. Do not lose focus of your pace. Is it JK Alts or is it J Cults? J Cults? Doesn't matter. Welcome in. I appreciate the long time lurk. It actually means a ton. I would say try and like lay out a timeline of pacing. Be like, okay, by 3 months in, I want to be, consistent about this aspect of my job. And then set yourself up for success. Try and compartmentalize the different aspects of your job, the company policies you got to know, the formatting, the high level of precision that you have to do. Learn, precision comes with time. You can nail it on your first try, no doubt, but consistency with precision takes time to acquire. So yeah, I would definitely say, like, lay out a timeline, give yourself some space to grow, and recognize that it's going to take time to achieve that. Early and consistent communication with your superiors and your supervisors are essential to ingratiating yourself into having them be patient with you as you move through your process of acclimation to your new position. So, because what you're doing is probably a pretty high stakes situation, if I'm just guessing. So, being thorough, being upfront, and let them know what you need when you need it. Do not tell them what you need after you don't need it anymore, or after it would no longer be useful to have. That's my advice. Let's see here. Also, yeah, I'd love to catch started lecture. Cool. Cheers. Yeah, Mr. Moon, thank you for gifting that sub. That was very kind of you. You know, I'm really hoping that works well, because I definitely missed some parts of this lecture. Oh yeah, Executive Dysfunction described me to a T. How are Horror and friends? We're doing great, Mad Mod today. Welcome in, buddy. Berserk, hello. I got here late. I'm perfectly fine hearing this again, for my brain has real problems holding information. I like your stream, Horatius. Thank you, Legion. I appreciate it. Andy, hello. Not gonna bread serious stream. This isn't related to the stream, but TM Trainer is a very anxiety-riddled, but also really fun at the same time. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is. I hope it's useful. There aren't a lot of qualified mental health workers in the more rural places of the U.S. That's correct. It's a combination of brain drain, lack of monetary gains in smaller areas, and social and crap social concepts still alive. Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. You can always reach out to online sources. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the online sources for mental health out there, but it's better than nothing. I totally overslept. Happy you're doing it again? Yeah, right on. I'm glad. Inner pronunciation works, and much appreciated for the tips. I've already notified that I'm prioritizing precision over speed, along with ensuring that they're able to review and address errors, even if I feel confident about what I've done is correct. They seem happy thus far. I'm just trying to ensure my contract expires. They'll remain interested in bringing me in officially. Yes, it sounds like you're playing your cards right. Stay at it, stay vigilant, and I think you'll be alright. Good luck. Alright, I'm gonna go stretch my legs and take a quick piss. Maybe get some more water. I'll be back in just a moment. Go ahead and formulate your questions and I'll catch up. I'll be right back. Oh, I thought I turned the workout off. Oh, God.
Rock and stone!
Aoife Mackay cheered X696, quick HES gone. De shenanigans.
Alright. Okay. Does a shenanigan. Oh, nice, Aoife. You're a chill dude, Mr. Dwarf Man. Always appreciate people doing their best to spread good mental health awareness and concepts. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate you very much. Thank you for hanging out. And I appreciate the follow as well. There he is. And here we go. What shenanigans? Hey, what's up, Bob? Been dealing with this exact issue lately. I'm glad you're doing this. Yeah, I'm glad to help. Genuinely. It's something I enjoy doing. I'm really proud of this, these lecture notes. The cage is open. Is it? Oh, fuck. I missed that. I thought I turned that off. Commence. No! Oh my goodness! I was wondering why none of the sound alerts were going. My fucking Live 2D, or my mix-it-up crashed. That's so funny. Oh no.
Bird up. 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 Bird up.
I'd like to begin my 18-part apology.
Oh no.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
Dude, sucking at something? First step toward being sort of good at something.
Yep. Honestly fair.
Oh no.
Wow. That's supposed to be. Pick up your fucking book.
That's enough to compensate.
Hello.
Hello. I'm actually surprised it didn't crash. Genuinely surprised it didn't crash my my mix-it-up, since that was happening while mix-it-up was loading. So the first time it happened, I was like, uh-oh. Certified dick move. Oh yeah. Bird Up still hasn't gotten old. It's just fucking funny, man. Speaking of dysfunction, I need to get out of bed or I'll be stuck here all day. Yep. Do the right thing for yourself, Joe. Love you, hon. Man. One more mission, then I take you to bed. Hell yeah. Whee! Alright, so we've been live for an hour and 28 minutes. At an hour 30, we're going to start again. Sound good? It's like a little over a minute and a half. Listening while taking a shower, of course. See you, Rook. Lurk if you can, my dude. If not, have a good one. Hello, No Pause. Welcome in. We're just about to get started with the lecture about executive dysfunction. I'm gonna executively function for once as we can, hell yeah. Oh my god. Through Ring Fit? Hell yeah, Cabela's. Alright. Let's get to it. Y'all ready? All right, everybody, welcome to Psychology 102, lecture number 6, Executive Dysfunction. My name is Horatius Silverstone. Rules for the lecture. If you want to ask a question, make sure it's relevant to the current topic at hand. Please use the raise hand, channel point, redeem. If you have questions that are not on the current topic, please save them, maybe even type them, and save them for the Q&A section at the end. I'll be interacting with chat, but much less than normal. And do me a favor, when you use the raise hand redeem, a mod will then put your question in the pin message, just so I don't miss it. So don't worry, I'll see it. Again, who am I? My name is Horatius Dwarf. I'm an EN VTuber, but by trade, I'm a mental health professional. I've been in the field for over 7 years, close to 10 now. I'm currently employed as a special education teacher. I have experience with ABA, which is applied to behavioral analysis, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Addiction counseling, behavior management, case manager, one-on-one behavioral aid in educational settings, intensive in-home, crisis management, conflict resolution, and CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. I am not licensed to practice mental health in the locations that you all currently live. Obviously, I am licensed to practice mental health where I live, and where I live is not the most tightly held secret. So even still, just remember this statement is more of a ethics thing, where I'm not licensed to be anybody's therapist in this space, because that's not my function here. Remember, our goals here on these streams is to raise awareness of mental health in the streaming community, to educate people on the basics of psychology, and to entertain and share my personal experiences from the field. Hi, Jonty. Disclaimer: take what you hear and read and improvise it. While much of what I'll be sharing is fact, it will be slathered in my own opinion and biases. This is to cover my ethics and not to do unjust harm to the people in my efforts here. So, these are our questions for today's lecture. Go ahead and read them now. We have, what is executive function? What part of the brain does executive function occur? What is and what is not executive dysfunction? What are some of the physiological factors of executive dysfunction? And why does executive dysfunction get lumped into so many people's symptom list? We'll be talking about these questions again at the end of the lecture. Just keep them in your mind, because they will be coming back. So let's define what executive function is first and foremost, before we get into what dysfunction is. Executive function is a lack of consistent operation of one's executive functioning. But what does that really mean? So executive function is a set of cognitive skills or processes that are necessary for an individual's control over their own behavior. The categories to the right are one set of the listings of them. People from all over the field use different words to describe these things. Thank you, Psychology World, for being fucking inconsistent. Because some people call them one thing, some people call them the other, but it's the same concept with a different coat of paint on it. Don't worry about it too much. But here are the main concepts. And please, while we're talking about these, think about these concepts and if they're familiar to you. So we have emotional control. Emotional control is very straightforward. It's just you being able to keep your feelings in check. It's keeping your temper if you're angry. It's staying happy even if things aren't working out at the exact moment. It's keeping your anxiety in control. It's taking your emotions and just making sure that you have like a handle on them. Maybe not full fucking control. It's okay for your emotions to run rampant sometimes. It's even healthy for that to occur. But a big part of it is knowing how to just keep in check. Like, be like, man, I'm really upset about this. I didn't think I was that upset, but thinking about it, I'm kind of mad. That would be an example of emotional control. Flexible thinking is adjusting your behavior to unexpected changes. An example that I'll use is you go to the store, you go to your corner store, right? And you go there, let's say, I don't know, like once a week, twice a week, or even every day, who knows? And when you go in there, you get something to drink, you get a snack, and you get something for later, maybe. Flexible thinking comes in when you go in and you like pick up your favorite drink and it's not there. They're out that day, or someone is standing in front of it and literally taking 2 minutes to pick a fucking can of soda, and you're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go get something else. That's you being flexible. That's changing your thought to accommodate for unforeseen circumstances. So being able to accommodate the world around you, that's flexible thinking. Working memory is your what is it? Your VRAM, I think. Mark put it earlier. I said it's your SSD, but I think he's more accurate. It's keeping key information in your mind while you're still using it. If you've ever sat in a situation where you're like thinking about something and then poof, it's gone, and you're like, oh fuck, what was I talking about? That's your working memory. It's the stuff that you're actively pursuing. Super important stuff. Then we have self-monitoring, self-awareness to how one is doing in the moment. So that's kind of similar to emotional control, but this is more of a metacognition. It's about like checking in your thought process, how not just you're feeling about something, but how you're thinking about it. So it's like we're going to use the term a lot later called metacognition. It's thinking about thinking. Self-monitoring is checking your thoughts about how you're feeling, about how you're thinking about a problem. Planning and prioritizing is setting timelines, time management. It's setting up like, okay, in a couple of hours, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that afterwards. Or I have a goal down the line. How do I get there? Blah, 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 blah. This is planning and prioritizing. Then you have task initiation. Task initiation is where you literally are like, how do I start this? How do I, fuck it, I'm just going to start. Right? The little push over the edge to begin doing something is task initiation. Organization is you keeping all of these things together, laying them out in order, setting them aside, prioritizing one over the other. It's keeping track of things mentally and physically. Like if you take something out of a drawer in your kitchen and then you set it down somewhere else, having the organization to make sure you put that back is part of this. Sort of organizing your thoughts mentally. Like, let's say you have a really shitty day and you sit down in your house and you're like, man, today sucked. Why did it suck? Let's go through it. And then you organize your thoughts based off of self-monitoring. You then end up here in organization where you're organizing how you're thinking about stuff. This is another one of those metacognitive parts of it. Impulse control is very straightforward. It's not doing shit the moment you feel it. It's kind of the inverse of task initiation in some ways, where task initiation is where you can struggle or you can have good control over starting tasks when you need to, as you need to. And then impulse control is being able to control your knee-jerk desire to start doing things or to do something. So those two play hand in hand. All right, so what's executive dysfunction? Executive dysfunction is when your executive functions are dysfunctional. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Executive dysfunction is defined when anything... dysfunction as a concept is defined by when anything breaks down in a day-to-day cognition or behavior or functioning. So, like, if you forget something, that's not dysfunction. That's you forgot something. Your memory had a whoops. Like, literally thousands of reasons why we forget stuff. Most of it is actually just your brain filtering out unnecessary information, or information that it thought was unnecessary, but later you find out was super important. But that's like a whole nother fucking thing. Anyway, going to this, a big part of dysfunction is where it happens so chronically or so devastatingly powerfully that you fucking can't function. It affects your quality of life. It's preventing you from actually doing stuff. I can't plan a day. That's a problem. I can't plan a day to the point where I sit here and do nothing and I lost my job or I didn't pay my bills or this or that. What dysfunction occurs when the problem is so potent that it's disrupting your ability to function as a human in your day-to-day life. That's dysfunction. But that's kind of so. Like, what if I forget stuff sometimes? That's kind of normal, honestly. Everyone forgets shit. It's a part of the brain. Like, don't hold on to that too strong. So we got our shed metaphor. I think the way I did it before is I could improve on that. So my shed metaphor is like looking at moving forward, looking at your executive dysfunction all parts of executive dysfunction can affect your shed building, right? So let's say you decide, I'm going to go build a shed. That's a big project. Building sheds aren't fucking easy. And they sure as shit don't start the day you put two pieces of lumber next to each other. They start when you start planning, where is it going to be? Get that space ready. I got to plan this. I have to, have good task initiation. Once I buy the supplies, I got to actually start doing the damn thing. I got to be flexible. Okay, I had a budget for this, and now that budget is over budget, or it's under budget. How do I change that? How do I improve things? Okay, I got to keep all these things in check. I got to make sure that I organize when I'm going to have some extra people help me build this shed. If I don't keep that timeline straight, then people are going to be like, hey, we showed up on Saturday to help you build this shed, and you weren't ready, so how about you just sort your shit out and you let us know when you're ready to build this fucking shed? Like, getting frustrated, like being able to keep your feelings in check when things don't work out, instead of just saying, fuck it, and just burning the whole thing to the ground and saying, I don't even care, fuck having a damn shed, it doesn't even matter. All of these things, all of these executive functions play a role in building a shed. And so having executive dysfunction in any one of these areas can cause a huge hiccup and even be outwardly detrimental or even preventative in you finishing a project like building a shed or anything else. So let's talk about some of these symptoms for dysfunction. The one that I'm blocking says trouble starting difficult or boring tasks. Oh no, I have some of these. Probably do. I know I do. It happens to all of us. And again, I want to come back to the fact that just because you have some dysfunction troubles that are on an executive level, it does not mean you have executive dysfunction. We'll get into that more. So, do some of these feel like things you struggle with? What do they feel like to you? Because some people you might be surprised. Just because, like, I know a lot of folks who struggle on focusing on stuff. I know a lot of people who struggle with starting a task. And some of those people describe the similar sensation to how that feels when they're struggling to start. Inversely, a lot of people have very, very different feelings. So taking a look at a couple of different people, when it's like, okay, start a project. I can't. Why? I'm stunned. That's fucking real. That's fucking real, right? Like, feeling paralyzed and not being able to start something, that's task initiation troubles. That's very real. Then some people feel just like it literally gives them a sense of anxiety where they don't want to begin because they think shit's going to fall apart, or they're nervous about beginning because maybe now's not the right time. Well, shit, it's never going to be the right time. Just fucking get to it. But it's not really that big of a deal. These sort of things happen to everybody. So don't diagnose yourself. Get fucking seen. But we'll get into how to overcome some of these later. But a lot of these, like, very easily observable executive dysfunction looks like focusing too much, struggling on switching between tasks, problems with impulse control. That picture has gambling, pills, and booze in it. We're going to talk about addiction later, because addiction plays a role in this. Daydreaming or spacing out when you shouldn't be, being easily distractible, and then, like I said, the one I'm blocking says trouble starting difficult or boring tasks. So let's break down what executive dysfunction is, physiologically speaking. How does it affect our bodies? Wrong question, actually. You want to swap that shit. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm so burpy. The coffee's really making me burp today. The easier question is to pose it the other way around. How does our body impact our executive function? Since the majority of our cognition occurs in our frontal lobe, not all of it, there's this little cool guy. He is like right around here in the core of your head. It's called the basal ganglia. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor very well. Yeah, the basal ganglia. Look him up. This is his name. Look up the basal ganglia. He's like right in the middle of your fucking dome. He has a lot to do with cognitive functioning as well. But your frontal lobe is like basically the hub for a lot of this stuff. So since the majority of our cognition happens in the frontal lobe, damage to it can be a source of executive dysfunction. However, many people of the previously mentioned symptoms can be misattributed to other diagnoses. This happens all the time. We talked about it earlier, where people who have depression are often have executive cognition problems or executive functioning problems that are in the metacognition side of things, where they don't want to think about their own thoughts because that's where their depression comes from. Thinking about their thoughts sucks. people who have a lot of anxiety have struggles with being flexible or flexibility issues to accommodate stuff. Often when people with a lot of anxiety have to be flexible about stuff, that causes their anxiety to flare up because, I mean, literally a multitude of reasons. So in short, executive function is often comorbid, and we can thank Wikipedia for this little blurb that I posted there. So where can executive dysfunction come from? It, like I mentioned already, it comes from a lot of places. But before we get into that list, take a look at this little highlighted warning message. There's a point. The point here is that the brain is a resilient, tough little bastard. But if it sustains permanent damage, it very likely will manifest in executive dysfunction. Now, this can be stuff like mental health disorders and behavioral stuff like addiction, depression, compulsive disorders, attention deficit disorders, and so many more. But like, let's talk about addiction for a sec, right? So addiction can be manifested as this huge issue where you have poor impulse control, where you can't focus on saying no. And so this makes your ability to, like, not start everything the moment you see the opportunity or your impulse really, really bad. And this is very troublesome, because then you fall into this cycle where you have no impulse control for the things you don't want to have impulse control for, or like such as your addictive substance, and then the addiction itself sort of feedback loops into you not wanting to have impulse control, because before now, having no impulse control has led you to these positive experiences with your addictive substance, and you're literally addicted to having that substance. So anything that makes you closer to having that substance is a good thing in your mind, because it's all, addiction addled. So yeah, addiction's a huge player when it comes to executive dysfunction, in my opinion, and that's as someone who used to work in addiction counseling. So like, if you know someone who is an addict or has a lot of dysfunction and has a fucking crutch of a substance that they use, I'm not going to say that they're dealing with addiction, because that's not my business, but maybe they should get that looked at. This can also manifest through trauma to the brain, like physical, internal, or external trauma. So like, if you have a lot of concussions, that can damage your frontal lobe, and damage to your frontal lobe, go back to the warning, damage to your brain can cause executive dysfunction. Huntington's disease, which is a condition where your neurons pathways between each other are severed or damaged or weak, and therefore that causes a lot of issues. Huntington's disease is a horrible condition, but one of the ways that can manifest is a issue with your executive functioning. Brain tumors can cause disruption in your frontal lobe, and if they do, it can lead to executive dysfunctions. Alzheimer's disease also can cause this. I mean, Alzheimer's disease is a fucking incredible blight on someone's brain functioning to begin with. But yeah, it's a lot. Thank you, Werewolf Lover, for the stretch. Hello. Oh, thank you very much. That was very helpful. Epilepsy, dementia, multiple sclerosis, all of these internal, like, really big problems can damage your brain, and if they do, I promise you, it's very, very realistic that you have some executive dysfunction problems or executive function problems because of that internal trauma. Carbon monoxide poisoning, other oxygen deprivation trauma, people who have a lot of, like, if someone smokes for their whole life, like anybody who has any problems that lowers their blood oxygen level, I guarantee you that's gonna cause oxygen deprivation problems in your brain and lead to executive dysfunction problems. So like, really what I'm hammering here is that executive functioning can be damaged and become dysfunctional from a plethora of sources, and you should never find yourself in a situation where you like go, okay, I have some executive dysfunction, obviously I'm depressed. That's not how it works. Executive dysfunction is a symptom of a bunch of different stuff. It can be looked at, it can be analyzed why you have that executive dysfunction, and it can be used to help diagnose what you're actually going through. It's actually very useful in a very roundabout way to have executive dysfunction, because it can give people who have a keen eye and a lot of intelligence, or not intelligence, but a lot of education on the matter, to help them find a path that you sort of follow the root of executive dysfunction to its terminus, and that's where you can find some of the more underlying issues that are afflicting your cognitive processes. Here's a recent study I found. It's a meta-analysis of a bunch of different previous works. I do recommend looking at it. The Future of Research on Executive Function and Its Development, an introduction to the special issue. Over the last several decades, research on executive function in children has flourished, producing a wealth of empirical findings. These findings have raised many theoretical and methodological questions that warrant attention and are addressed in this special issue. This introduction to the special issue reviews some of the recent history of the field before introducing 7 target articles. We introduce these articles in the context of current theological and methodological issues: domain generality versus domain specificity of executive function, ecological and cultural validity of executive function measures, executive function training and transfer, and the nature of relations between executive function and the achievement and other outcomes. This diverse set of articles collectively provides many fresh, testable ideas that promise to advance the field and usher the next wave of theory-guided executive function research. So, if you'd like a quick read, I recommend Doble and Mueller's meta-analysis here of 7 other studies who have taken a lot of different varied approaches to understanding and having a modern understanding of executive dysfunction. I think you could learn a lot. I recommend this one. So, the question becomes, what do we do with this eldritch truth? Executive dysfunction is a common trial of existence. As we wander through life, the odds of us bumping into this are rather significant. Sometimes it's short-lived tribulation, and some folks live their whole lives wrestling with executive dysfunction. One of the main troubles that executive function can sow in people is perspective-taking issues. So if we are armed with a basic understanding of executive dysfunction, we can identify it better in ourselves and in the people around us. This prepares us to not just navigate our own lives, but the lives of others that we encounter better. Here's a little quote from me. You can't actually walk a mile in someone else's shoes. You would have to steal their shoes, and then you would wear them. And you don't know, they could have some foot fungus problems. Ick. This is just obviously a joke. I think that taking other people's perspectives is really, really important, and you should try to do that as often as possible, as is feasible. But with that, you find yourself in these scenarios where it's hard to walk in other people's shoes. It's sometimes not possible. But I think you can learn a lot from it. So, we're going to our post-lecture quiz. I hope you guys have been paying attention, because there was a test. You did know that, and now it's time to come and show me what you've retained. Who can tell me, in your own words, what is executive functioning? What is executive function? Not dysfunction, executive function. What is that? Pardon me. Shoes be stinky though, yeah. Anyone want to take a crack at it? What is executive functioning? Being able to function normal in life, paying bills, working a job, normal human stuff. What you have learned, or we are secretly silly billies. Executive function is our ability to know we have something to do and to just do it, TM. I missed class, I know. What's up, Pierogi Pie? Yeah, so executive function is a set of cognitive skills or processes that are necessary for an individual's control of their behavior. I really appreciate everyone using their own words there, though. Next question. It said that humans require oxygen. Oxygen makes the world of fuel. Yes. What part of the brain does executive function occur in? So where does executive function occur primarily? There are other places, but there's like one place that we talked about. The frontal lobe? Correct, Jonty. Great answer. Yeah, it's the frontal lobe. There's the basalt ganglia, which is in the core of your brain that has a role in that, and there's many other parts. Yeah, there you go, Legion. Oh, I'm just happy to make for a little bit. Welcome in, Progy Pie. Thanks for being here, dude. I appreciate it. What is not and what is not executive dysfunction? Who can tell me something that is executive dysfunction? Or define executive dysfunction and then give me an example of something that isn't executive dysfunction. It is nice to have you here. Welcome in, Pierogi Pie. Curious to your guys' answer on this. I'll give you about a minute to type it all down. Thank you, Dox Nova. To me, as focus versus non-focus. Not necessarily. Executive dysfunction is not being able to leave your house to do tasks and not forgetting to do your laundry. Yeah, that's a good example, Legion. So like, executive dysfunction is where cognitive processes are not focused. Yeah, daydreaming is not executive dysfunction, right? Whereas an inability to focus to a point where it becomes detrimental to your life. Like, if you daydream in class, you're not executively dysfunctional. Tasks lined up as a sim, usually they're not doing it frozen. That's an example, yeah, absolutely. But the big thing with executive dysfunction here is, remember, the word dysfunction is super important. That's what we're looking for. The intensity and the chronicness of the dysfunction. It has to be something that affects your ability to live your life in a substantial way. It's not just small stuff. It's something that affects your ability to maintain a job, to maintain a relationship with somebody, personal, family, romantic, sexual, otherwise. This is dysfunction. Just like, troubles with functioning are not the same as dysfunction. It's an intensity issue there. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. I was unable to leave my house at all would count as executive dysfunction. Yes, that's definitely true. I would say that. But again, a big part of that does come from like why you didn't leave. You know what I mean? Like, if you weren't leaving your house because you were experiencing paranoia with your schizophrenic, situation, then that's really more of the schizophrenia and the paranoia in particular that's causing that problem. Whereas executive dysfunction would be, I can't leave my house because, like, I literally can't initiate the task. Like, I'll walk up to the door, want to do it, and just decide not to, just back down from doing it. That would, it's all nuance at that point, the differences between that, Windborn. But I appreciate you bringing that into the table. So, what are some physiological factors of executive dysfunction? That's my next question for you all. Or you hosting something like this is really great, and you present this all very well. I wish there were more creators upholding and educating upon mental health. That's very sweet of you, Pierogi, and I deeply appreciate that sentiment. Thank you. I try to do these once a month. We'll be doing another one later this month, near the end of the month, for copium, or coping skills. But thank you very much. It really means a lot to hear. But yeah, what are some of the physiological factors? Yes, Kisa, we do have a YouTube. Brain damage. Drain damage, correct. Physical, internal, or physical damage, internal or external, due to many different diseases, can absolutely fuck up your brain, and if they do, and cause permanent damage, executive function is a very common symptom of that damage. In fact, what is relatively common, as far as I know, I'm not a doctor, is in the medical world, if people suddenly struggle with a lot of executive dysfunction out of nowhere, seemingly, that is often something people look for before they say, "Hey, let's get you let's go do an MRI and scan your brain and see if there's something going on in there." Then we also have stuff like addiction, depression, compulsive disorders, attention deficit disorder, schizophrenia was mentioned by Windborn Dragon. Yeah, there's a lot of mental health, mental disorders, and physical trauma and disorders that can cause that. So why does executive dysfunction get lumped into so many people's symptom lists? We kind of just talked about that, but I'm curious to you guys to use your own words. So why do you guys think executive dysfunction is lumped onto so many people's symptom list? Because remember, executive dysfunction is not within and of itself a diagnosable disorder. It is a symptom. Drafty lyrics. It's very important, in my opinion, to have a basic understanding of mental health issues, and is why I'm glad I took psychology in college. Hell yeah. There's so many different causes? Yes, debunks. Very simple answer, very correct answer, because it comes from so many fucking places. It's lumped in because so many things can impact the frontal lobe's functioning. Correct. Good answers. Fantastic answers. Like I said, late this month in May, like 2-3 weeks from now, we're going to be doing another lecture on copium. We'll be talking about copium, the concept, why I don't like how it's used these days, coping skills, and trying to sort of take some of the what's the word I'm looking for? Some of the baggage off of copium, and trying to instruct people to not be so ashamed of coping through something, because I got a lot of opinions about it, and if I get started now, we're going to be here all day. The diagnosis around, and thanks to short info dumps / mismeaning TikToks. Yeah, as one of the big reasons why I don't like TikTok is because my entire profession is made kind of a farce on that website / platform, and I fucking hate it. Excuse me. So, hyperspecific cognitive loopholes, cultural psychology, ego, laziness, dysphoria, motivation, psychology of sex. Maybe we'll revisit stress and sleep or other topics from my past that we don't have the VODs of anymore. Slash we haven't just talked about in over a year or more. The psychology of video games, personalities, mental health in the workplace, eating disorders, cognitive distortions, which is a really fun one, loneliness, ethics of psychology, relationships, cult leaders, or just like cult personality stuff, bonus points if we don't mention Cabal during that stream, and then seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. Should be, I spelled that wrong. Should be seasonal affected disorder. Yeah. But yeah, those are some of the topics we'll be talking about over the next year or so. Hope to catch these. Is a great chance for introspection, among others. Hell yeah. Sorry, Oila. We are at the Q&A section. So if you have any questions about executive dysfunction, now's the time. Go ahead and sock it to me. I'm going to also be jumping into a... there will be a VOD. The lectures always make it to YouTube. Sometimes they take like a month for me to get off my ass and actually like port them over, but lectures always make it to YouTube, so the lectures will be there in full. More fun to learn live. I know, buddy. I'm really sorry. I actually did something for the first time where I genuinely went through the entire lecture twice, just so as many people as possible could see it live. I'm really sorry you missed it. Should I just take 11 shots of vinegar and doom scroll? I mean, a little bit of vinegar is good for you, so maybe less vinegar. But yeah, no, don't do that. Doom scrolling's bad no matter what. Let's talk about executive dysfunction. All right. Wait, what was it? Just use vinegar to clean burnt pots? Yeah. Try to inject bleach to cure executive dysfunction? Where are you injecting the bleach into? Because into you? No, don't do that. Ever.
Rock and stone!
Hey, Pierogi.
Pi gifted a tier 1 sub to Nyanomancer.
Thank you. Nyano deserves that sub. He's a good dude. This is when the men in black suits from the government would walk in and ask Gracious to help them with a group of international terrorists who hoard paper products. Maybe. Man, I definitely got to pee again. All right, I'll be right back. Maybe someone will join in, and I'll talk about executive dysfunction with folks. But if not, we'll figure out what we're doing. I don't know if we're done for the day or not. Alright. Go piss, sis. That's hilarious. Heads up, the vinegar, with vinegar it smells abhorrent. If you boil some, it'll burn layers in your pot. I believe. Boils a bit and the layer loosens. Shove steel wool with a ladle. Thank you, Andy. Anyway, that's pointless right out of my brain. Yeah, all right. So yeah, let's get into it. I don't know. Again, what's up, Malachi?
Hello.
How you doing, Buckaroo?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Good. I'm talking about executive dysfunction.
Yeah. So, question.
Sure.
What executive dysfunction?
Executive dysfunction. Chat. Tell Kai what executive dysfunction is.
Hi, chat. Yeah, I'm new. I'm new in everything. I don't know what executive dysfunction is.
Yeah, cute jammies, by the way. Apparently.
Oh, thank you. They're very comfy.
So, executive dysfunction is where you have. Okay, so do you know what executive functioning is?
I feel like I've heard the word,
Sure.
like the phrase, but don't really know.
Yeah, which is fair because a lot of people talk about shit they don't know about. So executive functioning is a set of cognitive skills or processes that are necessary for an individual's control over their behavior.
Okay.
So things like being able to be flexible in your thinking, being able to sort of be flexible with your environment in thinking, your emotional control, your impulse control, organizing, planning, prioritizing, the ability to initiate tasks, your working memory, and self-monitoring, like how you're feeling in the moment.
Okay.
Those are like the main branches of executive functioning. So executive dysfunctioning is where your ability to executively function has become so compromised that it's causing you dysfunction in your life, where you like it's lowering your quality of life.
Okay. Yeah. And so I assume that different things can affect my executive functioning.
Yes.
To a degree, like, like there are illnesses that can affect memory, or, mental health things that can affect emotional control.
Absolutely.
Or, okay. And
Chat,
so that
list off your favorite things that can cause you executive dysfunction. Here's a whole slide filled with it.
Okay.
Let's see. Never trust someone just simply saying how they think it may be this or that, because one condition, mental illnesses, have similar symptoms that aren't the same. So you see a professional. Yes, Drafty Lyrics. Always see a professional.
Yes.
And not motherfuckers on TikTok. Is executive dysfunction something you learn to live with, or is it just something you definitely have to get rid of? Core, sometimes you can get rid of your executive dysfunction problems, but there are some things that you can't get rid of, unfortunately. Do you want a shout out for your guest? Yes, please shout out Malachi Lazalimon. Oh, wait, Lazuli. You fucking got me with your joke ass name. What a bust.
Hi, everyone. Oh, Lord, that's funny. It's a bit that I have. We haven't had another name bit, so it's just stuck as Malachi Lazalimon.
Well, I'm Horror the Hot Nugget right now, so.
Yeah, I mean, you are a hot nugget, so.
Thanks.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, Java, please offer your things that work for you in terms of executive dysfunction. Yeah, so do you see yourself struggling with executive dysfunction? Is that something you like process much?
I see myself definitely struggling in some aspects, and like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. Sure. I feel like that's something that, like, you know, executive functioning is like something that a lot of people have to actively do.
Yep.
To like maintain a healthy balance in life.
Absolutely, it's a set of skills. Like that's the like skills are things that are developed. You're not born with being able to construct a timeline. That's something you can like take a jab at, but something you have to learn as you go. Well, hello, Java.
Hi, Java.
Hello.
Hi,
I'm still in my science
like
outfit. It's fine.
Up, like science. What is this?
I'm over the desk support. It's for science too.
Over the desk support.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I think that's very fair.
Glad. I'm very proud of that. I don't. All my other ones are. I have a hot dog in my head. I think I'll stay here. I'll stay to this.
We are doing science right now, so this is a fair thing to do.
Yes. I've been very lucky that I don't really have it as bad as I used to when I was in high school. But I've had to find techniques, and they work for me. They might not work for everyone. And I've tried a lot of different types. Because for me, the biggest issue is like kind of what a lot of people will show on movies or whatever, where you're just stuck in one place, and they're like, wow, they're so lazy. They don't want to move. And I'm internally screaming like, I want to stand, but my body just went, mm-mm. So some things that I do, especially when I'm getting up in the morning, especially for work, is thankfully since I have my own room and nobody else has to hear it, I will set several alarms. I will set several really early alarms if I want to get up that early, but I will always have one final alarm. It's like, this is not me being late. This is me having to get up at this time. So sometimes if I have those earlier ones and I feel available and able to get up early, then I will give a reward for getting up earlier than the mandated time.
Yeah. I love getting followed by U.S. Homeland Security.
Yeah, that scared me the last time I saw that. Like, oh, hi. Or like, I make sure to overplan for events because whether I write them down on a calendar or I put it in my phone or I like set an update a week ahead of time so that I know that's happening and I don't forget and it doesn't steamroll me the day it happens.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's fair. I think that's like almost, and I know this would have very different effects, but I feel like that's similar to like, you know, what the snooze was intended for. on alarms, you know? It's like, 5 more minutes phone. 5 more minutes phone.
Right.
5 more minutes phone.
Yeah, we're leaving the beneficial function of that behind at that point.
Yep, exactly.
It's funny you described that, Java, about your alarm schedule, because that's literally what Willow does. She has her like if I'm being good, I'll wake up now. 15 minutes later, I should probably get up now, and then 15 minutes later than that is like, okay, if I don't get up now, I'm gonna be late to work.
Yeah,
that kind of
it's
thing.
like you get the reward of either being able to putsy around a little bit more in the morning, or you have something available. Like I told myself, if I had gotten up at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. as CST time, I'd go to Culver's and get something. I'm like, nope, I got up at 10. A time that I can't.
Right.
And it's not like a punishment system. It is just like, oh, you just don't.
It's a
get
not
the
reward. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I know I'm also, especially depending on what situations are around certain dates, I don't remember like repeating date events, or at least I forget what date they were, whether it's somebody's birthday or like a funeral or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I know what happens in this time. I don't know if I'm supposed to do anything for it. I don't remember. They're like, oh, why aren't you like prepared for this event that happens every year? And I'm like, I don't know.
That's funny.
I don't have the energy or the brain power to remember to do it or get ready for it.
Salty Dub, I see you have your raised hand. Go ahead and ask your question, Grandma. Learning to bargain with yourself is a skill. 100%. Always outsmart yourself. I get fancy, indulgent breakfast in the morning on Saturday or Sunday if I walk to the place to get it. That's the deal.
Yeah. I have to be able to go to the place. I'm not going to bring it to me, because that's knowing the point of getting your reward. Oh, I could just DoorDash it. No, you can't. You're not allowed to do that. Turns it off.
Yep.
I've actually bargained with myself to, if I'm really like wanting food, I have a lot of decent places near me. I will drive there. Like, you know, it might not be the best, but I'll still drive there above ordering takeout, because the delivery fees are the real killer there.
Yeah, they're not great.
Tenny, I like that. I like that that plan to, like, I don't buy enough groceries for a week of groceries, so I have to go out every day to pick up this or that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Malachi, I hear that as well. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to set heavier rules for myself, because currently I take care of my grandmother.
Right.
I take care of my grandparents and such like that. They're my grandmother's very self-sufficient. She can do a lot of things on her own. I help with like electronics, I help with heavy lifting, I help with those things. But while I'm at work for most of the day, she'll do like house chores, because so the house will be cleaned, or groceries will be bought, or food will be made. There's always food. She's Hispanic. That's just a given. But but I know there will be a point in time where this will be my house, and I have to start setting a schedule for that. Because my schedule is I still do my errands. I do my laundry. I try to keep my room organized, try to keep my bathroom organized. But that doesn't mean that like I'm doing anything in the kitchen unless I'm cooking and I clean up my mess, or there is just, you know, there's something I want to put away or stuff. I know that that's something that I'm very lucky that I don't have to focus on that yet, but I know that I'm going to have to very much start putting a schedule of what day am I going to clean this? What day am I going to get groceries? What day am I going to do this? And probably that is a good idea of not getting as much groceries to last the week, so I have to go outside on my day off or after work. So I'm not just cooped up in one house to another building kind of thing.
Yeah. Hi, Arby. Welcome in. That's a great question, Salty. Would you say that it is reasonable to think that people who grow up in overlooming economical instability, such as individuals who grew up in low-income housing or those who require more money, like single parents, can have a tendency to develop executive dysfunction symptoms? And do you believe that due to that pressure, they are forced to find ways to deal with it? Yeah, because people don't like to die, so people will overcome tribulation as it comes. But as we mentioned earlier during the lecture, stress is a hell of a thing, and it will do everything. It will damage you. It will empower you. But yeah, it's definitely a thing where you see a lot of executive dysfunction in people of lower social class, or people in lower economic statuses, where because they have, you know, what's the fun little quote or fun quote that fines are only fines for the poor, where
Yep.
like someone getting a $50 speeding ticket, if they make $80,000 a year, it's not that big of a deal. If you make $30,000 a year, that's a lot of money for them. So like, I would definitely say, yeah, that makes sense. You're welcome, Salty. I big brain shit here. So, but yeah, I would say that people who are under more stress are more likely to be exposed to executive dysfunction troubles, but also especially people that you mentioned, like single parents. To me, executive dysfunction can creep up when you get overwhelmed. You know, like people who have a mental health crisis when they're trying to spin too many plates. And if you're trying to balance a household by yourself, that's hard, and harder, I would say, in many ways. So it's definitely like, yeah, yes, I would. I would say that those people are more at a higher disposition to encounter and develop executive dysfunction problems. And I would say that they are forced to either die from it or overcome it with less resources than other folks might have. And I wish that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People don't like to die. Now that's a quote. Like, deaths need a larger PR budget. Thanks, Timber. Welcome in, buddy. We would say is a common result of the pressure of light brew forcing you to overcome stress and how you handle / prevent that. Well, I think the problem is that most people don't have to handle stress. Like, most people will bottle it up or ignore it. Damn, you both just fucking outed yourself there unnecessarily.
No, I was laughing. I was laughing at. Listen, I'm not gonna say whether I am or not, but I'm just saying I was laughing at Java's reaction.
I'm gonna stretch real quick, and I need you to listen to this real quick.
It's pretty good.
The amount of tension that I hold in my body, and that's just my hands, is that, and I'm getting better. I can't do it every 20 minutes. It takes like every hour now or so, unless I'm like doing something that makes me tense or whatever. But I store so much in my body that I have to like stretch it out sometimes, because otherwise I start to curl in on myself physically, and it's not. I'm doing better. I'm so much better than I was even a year ago, but I'm at least now I'm willing to acknowledge that it's in there.
Hell yeah.
But
Java is a great people. Don't tell her I said so. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
I won't tell her.
You won't have to tell me. I read your mind.
Salty Dub, any percent make it about capitalism? I mean, shit, everything's political, especially psychology. Yeah, no, absolutely. We talked about it earlier, about how people of different social statuses have struggled with those things more just because they are under generally so much more stress. So yeah, money is stress, everything's stress. And stress can do anything to you, including kill you.
Yes. Yes, it can.
My uncle 100% ignored his taxes for years because it stressed him out. Yep, I believe that, Ray. 100%. So Malachi, what's a question that you have about executive dysfunction? Right on.
Thinking. If you're saying words we cannot hear. I saw a green.
I heard
a green
birds.
circle. Oh.
Malachi said this shit.
Birds might be me.
Oh, there you are, bud. Hello?
Oh, sorry. See, and this is exactly what I didn't want to happen. I went to go fill up my water bottle real quickly. Like just 2 seconds I was gone. I got called upon.
That's
It's
brilliant.
like when you say something embarrassing, the moment the room full of people suddenly quiets down.
Right.
For no reason.
So my question to you is what is the question you have at executive dysfunction?
Oh no, so I was just really curious about like understanding it and like what causes like, so now I understand like executive function versus executive dysfunction. But now I guess my question is like, already understanding how many like variables can affect your executive function.
Right.
I guess like how to build, I guess the healthy conversation is like how to build, a good like pace for yourself. Obviously understanding first where you stand with your executive function. Cause like me, I know you asked me earlier, actually, I don't think I got to answer, but with me and executive function, I realized that I can function, but I feel like wanting to do more than that, and I'm not sure if that still falls under executive function, is like wanting to do more than like, what I need to do is where I fall in motivation.
Interesting. So
like if somebody tells me to like, if I know I absolutely need to do something, like, to survive, like I work to secure my place of living. I get my groceries to feed myself for the week. I make sure that like, my relationships and everything are maintained. Like, and I handle all of that fairly decently. But I feel like when I want to do things like, when I see things that I pursue and I'm just like, oh, I want to be able to do this, but I know it might not be like, it's not like a crazy necessity. Like, it's not like, I don't eat for a few days and I die. Right. Then I'm like, then it definitely like falters a lot more there.
So essentially you look at things through a zero sum of like, is this important? No, throw it away. It gets ignored, and like that's an issue to you, or what? Am I understanding what you're saying right?
It's less than like it's absolutely zero and like I just toss it away, but more just like I'm just like, oh yeah, this would be nice, and like I start the planning process. Like, I might make a few notes here and there, but then I'll just kind of like stare at it, and then it'll go up like, onto that platform of just like, this would be a neat idea, along with every other thing that's like, this would be a neat idea. And it just kind of sits there collecting dust.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I might come back and pick it up and like, admire it for a little bit and like attempt, like make a small attempt towards it. But then again, it kind of falls into that habit again.
So that what it sounds like is that you struggle with prioritization. So like one of the executive functioning skills is planning and prioritizing. And that prioritizing one thing over another is something that you struggle with. But it doesn't sound like it affects you too, which is like, obviously I'm not diagnosing you here. That's not my job ever. But the I would say, from my personal opinion as a friend, it sounds like it's not causing you dysfunction. So that's good. But that's definitely something you want to focus on. Ten Cattle asks, did you already mention numbers, like how widespread it is? Everyone. I'm fully willing to put my name on the line and say every single person alive today and in the future and in the past at some point will struggle with executive dysfunction. Now, whether that comes from an internal issue, external issue, or whatever, at some point you will struggle with executive dysfunction. Some people deal with it their whole lives. Some people deal with short bouts. But I would say, Tenny, everybody at some point struggles with executive dysfunction.
In college, I had my priorities were very, very bad in college. Like, I got a good grade. I graduated perfectly fine. Even when I got sick, I was able to graduate at the same time as everyone else that I went to college with. But for the first year was fine. Second, third, and last, I prioritized spending time with people online over everything else.
Yeah.
So I still went to my classes. I still kind of ate, but I had roommates, so I had to kind of like hide in a closet to, converse with people late into the night. But I forego sleep for weeks. Like, I mean, I would sleep like an hour or two every night, but I would forego sleep for weeks, months to converse with people because it gave me more serotonin to socialize with these people than sleep. And with, at least at that time, I was able to function. I was young enough and was able to function well enough that I didn't need, the normal amount of hours. And I know everyone's different when how they sleep, but it's kind of affected even now because I can sleep normally, but I'm considered well rested after like 4 or 5 hours because I just forego sleeping for so long that my body's just like, okay.
But,
all right.
But with that, you got to consider that can affect the oxygen levels of your blood. Poor underdeveloped sleep can do that, and oxygen deprivation to the brain can damage it.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes certain things harder now. I mean, like, I can go to sleep very quickly and very easily, but that does I have bad memory lapses sometimes, and it's not like I forget who I am or where I am, but like. People will talk about events I've attended. My family will talk about events when I was a kid. I don't remember them. I remember what they've told me, because I can picture what they're telling me in my mind, but I can't say it from a first-person perspective because I'm like, I don't know. Sure, okay, it happened. All right, I'll believe you. I don't know. And I mean, maybe they're not connected. Maybe that's just how my brain works. But I know I was also diagnosed with ADHD when I was a child, and I used to take medication for it. I don't anymore for many reasons. But I'm sure adding on to like not sleeping probably didn't make it any better.
Yeah.
And it's more of a hurdle for me to get over, and learning techniques for myself to make it easier to process things or work through things or just do basic things, because maybe it does look easy from the outside in, but I struggle, but I'm so used to struggling that it doesn't feel as hard compared to, I think, what other people might assume.
Right. Let's see, Drafty Lyric says, it also varies highly off of individuals. There are some rich people who are from rich families who at the turn of the century questioned if they earned it off of the simplicity from birth, or taught by parents not to have those thoughts that anyone working for them could do this if they really wanted to try harder, which is how you got that stigma of rich people thinking less financially elevated people are lazy. It comes to generations of mental conditioning. Not sure I see the connection between that and what we're talking about, but yes, like that's definitely a generational issue. Oh, hey, same hat. Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, like I'm not afraid. Like, pretty much, I stopped taking medication because when I hit high school, we just assume puberty, chemicals difference caused an issue or a reaction with whatever medication I was taking. Started to hallucinate. Mostly visual, not really audible, well, occasional audible, but it messed with my brain so much that they're just like, okay, we're going to stop putting you on the medication. Or my parents decided that, because I don't know if we ever talked to a doctor, aside from my parents who are doctors or whatever. But, like, we didn't talk to the person who diagnosed and set me on the medication. They just said, I think we're going to start cutting back and taking off because she's finding ways to process and handle ADHD on her own without it. And also, she's having a bad time with medication. So that's kind of what... And I've kind of, like, stayed away from medication, partially because that does still kind of scare me, but also because I haven't felt a strong need to take it personally. And I've been able to find techniques for myself that work well enough that I'm not, like, I don't feel like I'm struggling all the time. And I can find new ways to fix it.
Yeah. I mean, you are always told before you start psychoactive medicines that, like, hey, here are things to look out for. And I'm always of the opinion when it comes to psychoactive drugs, psychiatric medicine, not psychoactive. Whenever someone's on those, it's always like, this should be a temporary means to an end, unless you're dealing with what is essentially a math problem in your brain chemistry that you need to take a medication to help you counterbalance the inaccuracy of the math. Like in that case, then yeah, pop that pill for the rest of your life. It'll help you get through it. But generally speaking, I think that should be a temporary sort of assistant to talk therapy and stuff.
Yeah. It's easier to find ways that you yourself, at least in my opinion, easier to find ways to find techniques for yourself than to rely on a medication forever. For me, again, because I've seen how stressful it can be to get your medication, to have the right amount, to have all those things, to learn that they're either running out of it or they have to change your dosage because something's not working. And like, again, for me, I've not had to deal with that for almost a decade. I'm probably just gonna stick to what I'm doing. I can find new ways to learn. I can go to therapy and have them help me find new ways to learn. Maybe if there's a medication that if I can take it and then it works forever or something, cool. But I personally want to try and find ways to just build for myself so that eventually I don't need to rely on another, like a therapist. I don't need to rely on medication. I don't need to rely on other things. I can simply just put the building blocks up myself. But everyone's different. Everyone learns different, but everyone should still continue to learn. And how I view things. Medication is not complacency. And and I've had my parents talk about thinking that's what it was, and it's not. But you have the tools. You can at least try and look for tools that help you not have to rely on just medication your whole life.
Yeah, exactly. Ogre, I think, puts it a really great way. I'd love to be off medication, but I'm working on building up a better me first. I like that a lot.
Yes, that's very good.
Kai, putting the mic back in your hands. What are your insights here?
As someone who's not been on medication or has been diagnosed with anything, I definitely understand, like you're saying, with it being more of a temporary means, and I like how Ogar put it, like to build yourself up to then be fine without it.
Yeah,
like it's literally like to change the lens slightly. It kind of sounds, the way I'm understanding it is like an injury, like say you break a bone or something. While I know it's not necessarily the same thing, it's like you have a crutch temporarily, like to help you and like get through it and like work towards finding a path to recovery.
Yeah.
And then you graduate from that crutch, and you can find ways to support yourself, even if there is some like long-term things you need to make sure you're keeping track of. That's still that's how I'm understanding it in this case.
Yeah, and I like the usage of crutch there, because crutch has a lot of baggage as a term, but like if you fuck up your leg and you need a crutch, it's not a crutch.
Yeah.
It's a literal crutch.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh man, wow, really trying to phone this shit in, so you're crutching your way through it with a third leg to help you walk. It's like, this can't fucking walk. No, literally, crutches are there to help you survive.
Yes. I think a good way to also for that same visualization, if that helps anyone visualize it like me, is like, you want to have medication as a crutch, not a cane.
Yes. Yeah, I like that.
That's a very good saying of it.
And also, even going back to what you had said before, about the number stuff, about you feel like everyone at some point will deal with like some like everyone will have issues with their executive functioning, and everyone might have their executive functioning compromised in some way due to any massive variety of variation.
Right.
And like I 100% agree with it. I didn't want to say it like initially when I joined, because like again I want to learn and like understand it first before I said anything on it. But I think that's like really fair, because like you said, it's a skill that you build up, and that skill gets challenged and tested every so often, to like from your emotions to planning and all functionings of your brain. So it's definitely like just talking about it a little more is definitely helping me understand. It's like, okay, so there's a lot of things that fall under your executive functioning, and there's a lot of things that can affect it.
Right.
Maybe not quite causing executive dysfunction, like we said about my like motivation stuff, but more like, again, that's just it being tested, and you can learn how to approach it from to feel better about it through like strengthening your executive functioning. But then also there's also means to help, like if you ever reach the levels of executive dysfunctioning. So actually, I would want to ask about that then. So if somebody reaches the levels of executive dysfunction in any of those like categories that fall under it, how does one work towards getting out of that?
So the way I answered this question earlier, because I answered a similar question between the first giving of the lecture and the second giving of the lecture. Because this executive dysfunction can come from so many places, I think when people are trying to work through their executive dysfunction, your mental health or even medical professional that's helping you with this will use your symptom, your visual symptom or visible symptom of executive dysfunction as a line to find what's going on. Because executive function is a symptom. It's not necessarily in and of itself disease or affliction or diagnosis. So like if you have poor impulse control and like to a point where it's causing you dysfunction, like you literally can't walk past a cashier without picking up a Twix or whatever. You know, then they go, okay, like why do you have such bad impulse control? And they like sort of talk with you more and find out more about you. Turns out you got a heroin addiction. And your poor impulse control is sort of perpetuated by this crippling addiction to a drug. And because having no impulse control has rewarded you with your drug in the past, your brain builds up this sort of feedback loop of like, oh, well, if I ignore trying to control my impulses, I get the thing that I like more, and that can be one of the potential reasons why you have executive dysfunction. Has nothing to do with like, you know, a physical trauma to your brain, but it has to do with a behavioral addiction issue. And so then they can help you treat the addiction through the normal addiction treatment routes. And then as your addiction fades, you can then focus on training up your impulse control as a skill again. But to address your question in particular, so first you sort of, like anything, you analyze what it is you're struggling with. What facet of executive functioning is the trouble? And then, as you've already echoed, it's a skill. You build it up. So there are, like, I mean, it sounds silly perhaps, but there's, like, you can Google search executive function worksheets, and you will find worksheets made for adults by adults to help people refine their executive functioning skills. So, like, as impromptu as that, and as, you know, proper form as talking to your doctor or your mental health professional about it, you can run through treatments to like role play or cognitive behavioral therapy approaches, talk therapy. All this stuff can be used to help you refine and sophisticate your executive function skills that you're currently having as a dysfunction.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome in, Rune. Sorry, there's a lot of people have been joining in and talking and hanging out, and I appreciate all that.
That's great.
A really awesome talk. I'm really enjoying how today's lecture has gone.
No, it's really. I think, like, and again, like, I've sat in a couple of your lectures before. I'm not always able to make it.
Sure.
But it's I think it's always interesting, like, especially today's topic, because, like you said, I feel like this is something that everyone, even if it doesn't quite reach the level, like, everyone has their own executive functioning.
Right.
So, and like you just said, like, maybe it doesn't reach levels of executive dysfunctioning for everyone, but we can all relate to, especially, you know, being adults in the world.
Yeah.
We can all relate to needing to prioritize, needing to plan, needing to remember, needing to do all of these things that fall under executive functioning. And I mean, it's literally what we were, like, you know, taught to do from birth, to be self-sufficient. And I think it's just relatable. And I've personally really been enjoying this conversation as well.
Hell yeah.
Neat. No, I enjoy listening to Horace TED Talks.
Horror talks. We gotta get branding changed.
Trying to find a word that talks but starts with an H.
Horror heckles.
Heckles, yes,
Horror
sure. No, well, maybe.
Synonyms.
Or we could just change
talk.
it to, or we go the other route. So dwarf discussions.
Dwarf discussions, I like that.
Let's see.
Ooh, the horror hour. That's a good one.
Well, we do have the Horatius Happy Hour, which is the interview show.
Yes.
Head talks. That's pretty good.
Head hawks.
Dwarf discussions is good. Yeah. Shed talks. Actually, I kind of fuck with
talks.
shed talks.
Shed talks are nice.
Have you picked up on that, Malachi? The shed metaphors.
Okay,
I feel like I've seen them around. I don't quite know.
Okay. Early when I got into the streaming, I found myself. I've been a carpenter. I've been a plumber. I've been an electrician. I've done leather working. I've smithed. I've blacksmith. I've done so many of the trades, and so I have a lot of experience in like those physical actions, and so a lot of my early metaphors and analogies would be like, so you're building a shed, and then there's this problem with your shed that you're building, and then it relates to anxiety somehow, like, and it became kind of a bit where I can take any complicated psychological topics and make them about building a shed. Horror orations, I kind of like that.
Ooh.
Sounds professional.
That's why you mentioned the shed earlier. Exactly, Vonnie. Because I always make shed metaphors.
It always comes back to the shed.
True. It's why we have a shed emote.
I want to see the shed emote. I want to see
It's
it.
in chat. It's Evo just posted it.
I want to see it more.
All right. Well, people
that
post the
is
shed
the
emote. Oh
shed,
shit.
Let's see that shed emote.
Oh my god, it's so cool that Vonnie Panini is in my chat, guys.
Man.
He's great.
It always work. It's ubiquitous. It's true. Hey, chat. Is the handsome professor still talking about his passion? Way to have Marin out herself as having the tab muted. I'm absolutely got him.
Yay, shed.
Shed.
Forget being a deadhead, you're now a shedhead.
Hell yeah. I only just sat down. Oh, my apologies, Marin. I didn't mean to ostracize you.
Great.
So the shower after the gym? Hell yeah. I'm glad. Fucking Marin's ass fucking came in, made me flushed, and then fucking didn't explain and left. Thank you, Dubs.
It's funny to bully Hora.
I guess. Yeah.
Oh, it is. I don't know why it took so long for me to find, but boom. Shed.
Thanks, Dubs. I gotta work the triceps today because my biceps are fucking screaming from my kettlebell swings yesterday.
Where did I put my weights? I put them somewhere.
Always keep them within arm reach of your desk.
Yeah.
Dwarf
I also
obliteration.
have
Don't. No. Come on, mute. Marin is many things, but I thought she is not. Yeah, that's what I was doing, Dubs. Doing some overhead extensions.
I
Oh,
have leg weights too, but I wish they would make heavier leg weights. I know that they can't above like 20 pounds.
There's a guy. He's a Saiyan. He has really heavy leg weights. There's also the Leaf Clan.
Yes.
Rock Lee.
I would honestly. I mean, I probably would take forever to actually use them, but I would love those. because like the 5 to 10 pounds do not. Yeah, they're heavy-ish if you're not walking a lot. But I used to wear those when I went to school when I was in high school, and I would just wear them the whole day. And then when I got home, I didn't get to the equivalent of how the Saiyans or Mr. Rock Lee felt. But boy, let me tell you, I did feel lighter, and it also made it whenever I kicked, a lot more dangerous because the weight just whoosh.
Yep.
I will
that was
say,
fun though.
as someone who definitely looked into like using like weights, 100% after I saw the Rock Lee versus Gara
Oh
fight.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But the other thing I found out immediately was that just be careful if you're ever using body weights like that, because they can damage you in ways that you will not feel until later, and it will come back to bite you. Just that it does,
Oh, no,
just
absolutely.
recognizing that it's constant stress on your muscles, and not only your muscles but also your bones.
Yep.
So yeah.
It's okay. I'm always in constant stress. Actually, I need to stretch.
Amazing. What's up,
There
Sarah?
we go.
I'm doing awesome. I have reapproached how I'm doing the psychology lecture streams, Sour. So I ran the lecture. I took a little break. We chit-chatted about stuff, and then I ran the lecture a second time, and now I've had some guests pop on, and we're just sort of vaguely gesturing towards executive dysfunction, which is today's topic, as well as sort of branching off of it into just sort of general psychological topics.
And then I started talking about anime.
Yeah.
Then anime happened.
Look, there's a lot of psychological stuff in anime.
Yeah.
What did she mean by that?
Well, I mean, there's a few things you could look at. Like, you ever have that moment, chat, when like the camera zooms really close into your face and you feel like everything's going wrong? Yeah. So if you ever have that moment, you just fucked.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, Horatius, do you know the meme I'm referencing?
Can you say it again?
So there's a certain thing with anime characters, like when the camera zooms really
Zooms
close
in.
to their face,
Yeah.
gives that really weird like fish lens angle, and just like they're just like losing their shit.
Yeah. It's what's the fucking emote that I'm thinking of? It's like one of those yellow face guys, and he has like the two big wide open eyes with the big blush marks, and it's like super close. Finari has one of those emotes.
I found it.
Yeah, like
yeah, drifty lyrics. That. Is that what you mean?
Imagine,
No,
imagine
yeah.
that, but imagine like the eye, iris
There you
and
go.
like pupil are just like super like dilated, like small.
They're like in
and
a
just, like,
fishbowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like in a.
Yeah, and then
There.
like, everything's like quivering, and there's like white static in the back, and
Yeah.
they're at the moment where they're having a mind break.
Yeah. Exactly that.
Yeah,
Man, I
we call
wish
those
my
panic
brain-
attacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, jeez.
All right, Mark,
wish that
you
was
enjoy
cold
finding one of
in
those to
anime.
put into that short?
I'll find money for you.
Set them on mute. Nah, I generally don't feel like I'm the main character of the camera, so it doesn't focus on me.
Oh, that's a cow.
What is a cow?
Vanny.
Bonnie!
Hello.
Welcome in.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Good day.
I was counting the days. I was like, Vanny's in the chat, but not in this call right now.
Oh my
Vanny
god.
can't get in.
I was sick.
It's okay. I'm glad you're feeling better.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm better. I am.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit sickier, but better.
Okay. Well, it's nice to have you.
It's nice to be here.
Lady J. Psych,
wonderful.
an actual other mental health professional in chat, mentions that they use anime in their therapy with kiddos very often. They understand psychological concepts through anime examples. Yeah, whenever you're teaching these sort of really heady psychology topics or just like adult concepts overall to children, I highly recommend finding media that they can relate to that has that as a part of it, because there's odds are there's something somewhere. because it's really easy for them to see a physical example of it in the moment, and then you talk about it and break it apart for them.
Mm-hmm. Also, thank you, Java, for the examples in the side chat.
Oh my
It's
god.
the one where when the anime character's about to go insane in the camera angle. The real life one is really funny.
The real life one is crazy.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's what it feels like, yeah.
That's great. And now, I can actually speak on that a little more. Not necessarily in terms of the mental health aspect of it, but so my mother is a coach. She coaches at a relatively high level for basketball, and so like one thing that she has to teach the youth that she coaches is like figuring out if they really want to go forward with this as like a career, like if they want to go to college for the sport that they're playing, if they want to go to potentially professional with the sport that they're playing, and like understanding like how to manage that and how to have the drive for that.
Oh yeah.
And because it is a lot, like mental health, I'm glad over the past years has become a very big, like, not necessarily mental health, but more like the mental aspect of it has become a lot more of a discussion. Because like nowadays, if anyone's ever been involved with sports, like they always talk about like, being ready for the next level, things like that. Because like that is a mentality that people have to have. Like you have to have that drive to want to climb. And so I'll always remember when I told my mom about this anime I was watching, and then she ended up watching it with me. The anime called Blue Lock. It's a soccer sports anime.
It sure is.
And I will say it's not like, if people aren't familiar with anime, it's not super over the top. They have some really grand depictions, but the actual sport itself remains the same. It is not like, you're not going to watch someone go Super Saiyan on the field all of a sudden. But the concepts that they talk about and the way they break it down make it so digestible that like you can really understand, just like, okay, so even factors like, luck get talked about in that series, where it's like, it's not just random luck. Like you have to build yourself up to be available for if an opportunity presents itself to you, and that is taking advantage of the luck that comes your way. And then a bunch of other like concepts that they really discuss and talk about. And it's like, she watched it with me all the way through, and it was just like, yeah, I could use this in like coaching. I was like,
yeah,
really? And I want you to know, my mom was coaching before I was born. I'm 26 years old. My mom was coaching before I was born at the collegiate level. And she said that. And I was like, that is really interesting to know. And I will be telling everybody that a coach certified the teaching practices in Blue Lock.
Hell yeah. When's that video essay of yours coming out?
Oh, it's in the works. Don't worry. It's in the works. I love that series so much.
Hell yeah. Sorry, I'm just sort of like I'm so delighted in how this has gone today. The lectures always take a lot out of me. Like whenever I like turn off stream from a lecture stream, I go and I lay on my couch for like an hour and a half, and I'm just like, no one asked me to do anything ever.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. The post-stream disassociation definitely like hits sometimes. Just like, I'm just gonna exist for like the next hour.
What was that, Bonnie?
They're so good.
Thank you. It's very nice.
They're so good.
They're a lot of work.
Dude, sucking at something is the first step towards
I
being
like
sort of
listening
good at
to them
something.
even if I don't write really for them. It's really nice.
Yeah, normally, if anything, I get ready in the morning and listen. It's one of my Sunday morning kind of things. If I have the time to, I'll make breakfast and I've learned that Alexa will open Twitch, if you have one of those ones with the screen on them. So I'll have it play. I have to go through the ads because I'm not signing into it on
What
that
is
thing,
the
but...
what is the command that you give your Alexa?
Hey Alexa, Open Twitch. I'm open. See how many people got stuck.
Alexa, play Horatius the Dwarf.
I tried to do that. It won't let me. I have to. But I've played you so many times on it, it remembers, and so it'll pop your name up.
You could have ended that sentence that you've played me so many times.
I mean, when I get Alexa, I'm gonna be. If I ever get Alexa, I'm just gonna train it and be like, "Hey, Alexa, put on the greatest streamer of all time."
There's yourself.
We'll just be right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yes, I love that dwarf.
It me.
And you.
The first male streamer, the last VTuber.
Did he tell your chat about how you were trending on Twitter today?
Oh yeah, did you guys see that I was trending on Twitter?
I'm so proud of you.
I know.
You did such a good job.
Thanks.
Yeah,
it was
like,
saying the VTuber trending 8,000 posts. So I was like, oh, it's me. Obviously, like who else would it be?
Exactly. Iron who?
I don't know who that is.
Exactly.
I'm very funny.
I appreciate your humor greatly. I want you to know I'm pulling the multitask of all time right now.
Ooh.
While being in this conversation, I am currently leveling up my D&D character.
Oh my
Let's
god.
go.
Hey, I have a session today.
Nice.
It'd be fun.
There's plenty of footage to back up the claim too. That's unfortunately true, Mark Mute. There's a lot of Twitch VOD footage of Java playing me.
I know many weaknesses. It's very
My
funny.
weaknesses are well documented, lady.
Yes, they are. Just bring them up because people forget.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
Think with the workouts are. Vonnie, do you have any questions about executive dysfunction?
No, I just think I have it.
Well,
Yeah.
Most likely is how the past few weeks been going. Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing about it?
I'm not coping very well. No.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
It's like when sometimes I get to do it, but I still haven't completed it at all. So it's been something I've been talking to my therapist about, though. So
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's the way
I
to do
thought it was an ADHD thing, though. So
Well, I mean, ADHD can cause this. It can be the root cause of that executive dysfunction.
I always thought, if I take my ADHD meds, maybe it'll fix it. And then I took my ADHD meds and it didn't fix it. So I was like, oh.
Well, hopefully by using your ADHD medication, it can help you focus on improving your executive function with less things distracting you.
Yeah, hopefully. I think I fall more into the fear category.
Mm-hmm.
Where I have the anxiety that I don't do it unless someone like pushes me to do it.
Gotcha. So task initiation is really hard?
Yeah.
Yeah. A piece of help for that, do you know what an accountability buddy is?
No.
Do you know what body doubling is?
Is that a friend?
Yeah, essentially. So body doubling is the practice of knowing that you're struggling with not just starting tasks, but staying on tasks. So you have someone physically near you as a reminder to hold you accountable to your productivity.
There's a problem, though. Then my ADHD kicks in, and then as soon as you tell me to do something, I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, but their purpose there is to not make you do it. Their presence is simply to be there. Their presence can be grounding to help keep you focused.
Yeah. It's kind of like replicating like a working environment. Like I know that in the similar vein of thinking is why people will go to the library to study.
Yes.
Because that environment has a lot of other people that are equally also going to the library or study hall specifically to study or work on something.
Yeah.
It's like that is all of these people are now my doubles.
Yeah,
and
like
that can also convince your brain to be like, oh, it would be socially acceptable for me to also be productive at this time, and I want to fit in.
Yep. Like my best friend Patat and I do that. We'll get in a Discord call and we won't talk. We won't. It'll be silence, but I know they're there, so I can get my stuff done. And they'll do the same thing. We'll do chores and we can have conversations if something pops up, but we're literally just sitting in silence together doing our own thing, but it motivates us to do that. Kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's accountability buddies or body doubling is not supposed to be like a pressure tool. It's just supposed to like. It can also be helpful. Yeah, it's gentle presence, but also they can be like you can empower your body double, your accountability buddy, to be like, hey, check in with me every this time, or hey, instead of me disrupting my workflow and getting up and getting a glass of water or something that I need that I could have someone else do for me, can you go get me a cup of water so I don't have to break my concentration? Like it's essentially asking for someone that's close to you to be like a PA, like a personal assistant, to help keep you focused. But it's very effective, and I highly recommend if you have that resource available to you that you look into that. It could be very helpful.
I might try the Discord thing because I don't really have a person IRL since I still live with my parents and I do not want to ask my parents.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, can you come sit next to me? I'm going to record some girlfriend ASMR.
No. Oh my god, anything but my dad. Oh my god.
Oh jeez. And no, I've definitely seen like and correct me if I'm wrong, but another term I've heard for the body doubling is also co-working.
Yeah, parallel play, co-working, it's all the same shit.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure the specific term wasn't like vastly different.
No, I like accountability buddy because it's fun to say, and I like saying adult parallel play because the double entendre is very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, Joe.
What? I can't just agree. No.
It's not. That's not what I'm talking about, and you fucking know. It was your method of agreeance.
My
parents have no clue what the fuck streaming is beyond Netflix. Fair. Ever tell you guys a story? Some of y'all may have heard it before. The story of where my blood mother, the rune mother is what I call her on stream. She came over early when I was starting streaming, and she's like, "So how does this like work?" Because I like told her about it. And she's like, "How does it work?" And I was like, "Well, sit on my desk," and I turned the model on. And I turned the webcam on because I was using a webcam at the time. And she... Hello? Did my model just die? Ooh. Hello?
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
It froze, yeah.
Alright. I'm back.
Monday.
Okay. I think it was your model died.
She sat down and the model started to like track her movements and she freaked the fuck out. And she's like, "Nope, don't like that." Got out of the chair and walked away. And she's like, "I'm glad you're having fun. I don't care. I don't want that anymore."
That's fair. It's not for everyone.
No. But I think it's cool as fuck.
Oh no, I think it's super cool.
I wonder if she reacts the same way when she sees those pictures where the eyes follow you.
I wonder if she does that with mirrors. Sorry. I love you, Mom. I love you, Mom.
Oh, that's so good.
If you're lurking, I'm sorry. I love you.
The mirror.
This is how I find out that my mom's a vampire and always has been.
There's nothing there.
Horatius the vampire dwarf.
I don't want to encroach on Kono's shtick too much.
True. Oh my lord. But no, I think that's I think that's definitely really funny. Just seeing that, because like I know some people have told me, like I have a IRL friend that I remember when I told him about streaming, and there's like as a VTuber, and there was like, they all just look really weird. It's like uncanny valley for me. So I guess I just met another person that's like really like, just looks at it and just has like this little like side eye to them. But it's really funny because like, I remember my experience when I first got like my first model, and I was just like, oh, it was just this little chibi thing. But I was like, oh, it's tracking me. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people get to like see it as a thing that you can control, and I think that some people get feared that it's something that's controlling them, or like trying to imitate them and taking their autonomy away. I can see the fear there, but it's a silly, inaccurate one. Yeah, I'll be good.
But in the same breath, they're not afraid of those AI pictures that change you into a 2D, I don't know, 5 years ago hippie woman.
Yeah.
I find that way more scary. I feel like they use all these AI generated filters, and we're like, oh, that's so cool. But then they get scared of this, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, have some consistency to your paranoia. What the fuck? Right. I'm gonna hit the restroom. We'll be right back. Good luck.
Okay.
Hey, chat, don't tell Horatius this, but he's super cool and super smart and a lovely conversationalist.
Amazing dwarf.
Amazing.
Fangirl a lot.
Fangirl a lot?
Yeah.
Dude, what's the biggest fact about Horatius that'll get you
Horatio's
to fangirl?
gone.
I just like his overall attitude a lot. I don't know. It's just super comfy, but also like I don't know. It's something. I admire him.
Bjorn_CH cheered X100.
I admire him. He's great. I like his attitude. I like the way he handles stuff. I like the way he thinks. Great.
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely fair. I think that Horatius is definitely. You know what I think it is? Like, Horatius definitely gives the vibe of like someone who's been through a lot of things and
Whoa!
Huh?
No more nice things being said.
No, I can still say nice things.
What?
Hi.
No, it was just going down the streak of talking very positively about you as soon as you walk away.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
Good takes, everybody.
Amazing.
Holy shit, Bjorn, what's up, buddy?
Wait a minute. I feel like I'm being attacked right now.
Why?
I just saw the animation of you mining into my face.
There are treasures in there. You gotta find them.
I am the treasure.
That's true. That's true. All right, I gotta
Literally and figuratively.
I gotta do the thing.
Money.
Let's see.
Money. And then it mutes. Can't hear it.
No, I haven't definitely.
Not yet.
It's the money eyes.
I probably won't.
Oh.
I will take my headphones off though, so got him.
No.
Anyway, thanks for the hype train, everybody. You guys get the song that you always wanted. Money, motherfucker. Money on my motherfucking mind. Cop 5 haircuts at the same time. White gold pants, just ski made of wine. Foie gras busts of Albert Einstein. Get money. Money in my motherfucking mouth. And a mansion, a ranch, and a camp, and a town. And a motherfucking store where the floor made of scalps. Bobby from the block in Garox, he got Alps. Get money. Money in the motherfucking jar. Shark fin pastry, summers on Mars. 20 motherfuckers in a levitating car. 747 full of women and cigars. Get money. Money in the motherfucking pot. And a castle full of cars and a yard full of yachts. And a leopard with a mink and an arm full of clocks, all hand wound every day by a Spock. Get money. Money is a motherfucking joke. 40 bald eagles sewn into a coat. Zoo with the crib, mermaid in the moat. Buy another strip mall every eighth note. Get money. Money ain't motherfucking prob. It's a sport I invented to win when I watch, and I own all the rights and the lights and the locks, even own all the ice and the Sprite you just dropped. Get money. Money of your motherfucking life. 2-ton angel carved out of ice. Alligator sailboat, $sign eyes. Get a warehouse full of Van Goghs twice. Get money. Money of your motherfucking heart. I could give it to my dog, him his money when he barks. Or I could give it to my fridge or one of my parks that I bought so my robots could learn how to LARP. Get money.
Yippee!
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thought Kai was harder than that. Kai's hard as fuck.
Yeah, I think you're.
What?
No, so I think you're downplaying how strong and strapping Horatius is.
Damn, we can both be awesome.
I mean, yeah.
Oh.
absolutely.
Never mind.
Yeah?
I was.
What's wrong?
I just heard Kai is hard as fuck, and I was like, what?
I am.
I was gonna make a rock hard joke, but I don't know you well enough yet to say it with confidence.
I am a literal rock. I am rock hard.
I
Yeah.
know, that's what I was gonna make the joke.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. If
Why
it's
is there
like
is there
that.
something funny about making that? Like, I think it's just a true statement.
Yeah, I just.
Y'all motherfuckers being lithist.
Oh man, I'm still coming up from yesterday. I was talking with Stacy with Kaiju Fluff and others, and our brains were just atrocious.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk. It was just, I don't know if that stream even exists now. I don't know. That's what it does.
Oh, hello, Tommy. I love the idea of Tommy ever giving anyone shit to tell them to take their mind out of their gutter when this dude fucking posts his titties every goddamn day.
Right?
Where's the sound effect? Is this the? I hope this is the right one.
Hope Badger cheered X100.
Yeah, it is.
Mine
Okay.
face.
Like, my timeline is so pure, and then, like, just Tommy's tits.
Every day.
Yeah.
And what's impressive is that it's almost always a new picture of his tits. It's
Yeah.
bananas. Also, Tommy, are you a boy or a girl?
You're so bad for
Oh my
That's just
God.
endlessly funny to me. Look, tomboy art is good. Correct. Don't do that, Mark. That kills you. Oh, hi, Tommy.
Wolf.
I'm at home, motherfucker.
Hello,
I
goodbye.
couldn't understand a word of that.
The boobs got bigger when they spoke.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love it.
Speaking, well, going all the way back to executive dysfunction, I set up a timer that is already like 20 minutes past because I have to do laundry. So I'm gonna go do that and be somewhat responsible. Have fun. Bye bye.
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 Bye bye.
Look at her go. Professor Horatius is about to give Tommy a starter Pokemon. That's the bit that I like to maintain. But essentially, this one brainlet on Twitter just could not stop asking Tommy that question. It was fucking hilarious.
Wait, that was a thing on Twitter?
Yeah.
I thought it was just a general meme because the people do that all the fucking time everywhere.
That's true. Which,
Like, I think
you're right. Go ahead.
if you go on TikTok, you can't go into a single comment section without that question being asked at least once.
Yeah. Honestly, you can easily take care of this problem. All you have to say is there are no grills on the internet. Problem solved. Everyone's gay. Get over it.
There's no grills. There's no grills.
There's no grills on the internet.
Thank God there's no grills on the internet. My ass is saved one more day.
Also, I was gonna ask the question: am I the Pokemon?
You just get that women are the major demographic of voice mod. Just remember that.
Yep.
Quote unquote. And it's secretly all just people with voice mod. There you go. Okay.
Yep.
Don't help me like that.
So you have the corpse. What was his name? Corpse husband voice mod.
What?
Yes, that's absolutely
Yeah.
the voice mod that I use. You know, to get this like not at all rough, smooth, deep voice that actually has range. Unlike
Some folks.
someone speaking like this all the time. Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
Oh, the Valorant e-boys.
I mean, it's a little more than just Valorant. I also happen to play League of Legends. Thank you very much.
Even worse, bro. Even worse. What the fuck?
That's hilarious.
Funny enough, and I know you were talking with him a while back as well, but I had this talk with Segi the other day as well. I'm just like, people would naturally, and like chat, you guys can use this to your advantage as well to just be able to call it out. But most of the time, outside of strenuous circumstances, like I know with Corpse, he has GERD. That's the reason why his voice is like that.
Yeah.
And that's why I also don't like people likening it to like his voice a lot, because that is a medical condition that causes his voice to sound like that. That's not just something that like people have naturally. Like you have serious vocal cord damage if you sound like that naturally. But when someone has a deep voice, like I know people say I have a deep voice. I don't always hear it, but I have a deeper voice than most. And, but I can still like get higher when I'm like excited. And like when I talk like this, and like, even if I want to get higher, I can start talking like Doofenshmirtz if you want. But
Oh my god.
when you get to like, you can actually inflect things with your voice rather than, sitting like this all the time because this is my deep voice and this is the only thing, because if I try to inflect with this voice, then I can't.
Right.
If you think about it, the deep voice for men is just the same equivalent with the high-pitched uwu voice for women.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, yeah. That's actually a really good,
It's the same. It's this, people use it for likability, but it's literally the same thing.
Welcome in, Lord Dresscan. Also, Kyfenschmerz, can we get an emote of Kyfenschmerz? I would like to see a Kyfenschmerz emote. I think that would be really good. I don't know what you need, but you can have it. Thanks, Grabellis. Can we get an emo?
An emo? Where?
I mean, if Twitter's to be believed, a lot of VTubers are just people who just wear black. So
No, that's just people.
No, I wear black because dirty things will show up less on it. That's all.
I wear black because, man, you wouldn't understand.
Guy, you never worked with flour, have you?
Oh boy.
What do you mean it shows up less? What the fuck?
I wear black because I'm fat.
Tommy, are you trying to change your picture the entire time, but it doesn't change on stream?
Fucking stuck. Change, motherfucker.
He changed it the first time, trying to probably get rid of the tomboy.
The tomboy, motherfucker. It says the fuck.
You're stuck with tits. It's normal.
Vanny, take them off.
Oh my god.
We can't do this. If we canonize that VTubers can steal each other's breasts, then it's gonna be that weird ninja hentai all over again.
I mean,
don't worry. High School DxD is about to start doing the same thing. There's a High School DxD sequel light novel, and I swear it's gonna get an anime. Just watch.
Wait, what's the sequel? I now need to.
High School DxD Junior. It was just announced.
What? Wait, does that mean the main series is done? Because I read 19 volumes.
They finished the light novel story.
Holy crap! I need to get some reading done.
Damn, you coomers.
Yeah, now they're doing their equivalent of Soul Eater not.
Okay.
No, I want the boys out.
I really want you to understand me. I really want you to understand me, and I really hope you believe me on this.
I really
When
want you to understand me how serious I'm about this Coomer anime.
I genuinely love that
okay?
series. I genuinely love that series as a battle anime. I don't
yeah,
care
no,
about all the all the
No, dude,
Are you sure about the battle? Isn't this the one with the tits slow motion shooting scene?
No. That's High School of the Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, how could you not get it all together? Oh my goodness.
The fucking final fight with Cyborg in the golden armor just coming down to a fucking brawler. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
I'm over here just being like, can we talk about how Interspecies Reviewers has one of the most banging opening and closing songs of all
no,
time?
it's because it's to the beat of the YMCA, okay? That's a fucking and it has the word bustin' up between the lyrics.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. There's much less fan service. So the series we were talking about, High School DD, is the
it's the one with the red-haired girl.
Yes, it's
the anime with the red-haired girl. Thank you for narrowing it down, Vanny.
It's about demons and breasts.
She's the red-haired girl on the cover, bro.
They're all about that, though.
But this one is very focused on both of those things.
Yeah, you know, the first line in the anime was just the guy saying, I want to squeeze some boobs. The first episode of the first thing.
Sorry, the what? He said, Mark Mead's got it right. I watch ecchi for the battle scenes, just how I love watching porn for the plot. Those damn women stealing whores.
Now, see, that's the thing. You'll get like Backyard Bang number 9, and I need to catch up on the cinematic universe of that because I feel like I'm not going to be caught up to things if I just jump into 9. I feel like I need to see 1 through 8.
Listen, I'm a be real as well. I don't watch the anime of High School DD. I read the light novel, which is the actual novel.
Oh, the one that doesn't even have pictures. Got it.
I mean, it has some pictures, but not.
Fuck you read a book?
The light novel doesn't have much images, Tommy.
Yeah, it has
like the anime.
5 images in like 100, 200 pages.
Look, I just like the fact that the anime has a better soundtrack than the book.
Yeah.
It has the
music
same
while I read.
Yeah.
What?
Just play the fucking music while you read, dog.
It's like, oh shit, it's getting intense. Going over Spotify, battle music. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Wait a minute, I need actiony music.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, I love it.
What's that supposed to mean? Read a fucking book.
Thank you, Mark Mute, for the read a fucking book. Sound.
Have that book be the High School DxD.
I don't like how so much of that time you guys were mentioning
Spotify?
school DxD. I heard as LOL XD.
No.
LOL XD, and I was like, I don't know what's happening.
High school was so fun. XD, lol, LFMAO.
Oh, well, what's this? Colon 3.
Colon 3 lowercase c.
Yeah. Nozzles pounces. Ooh, you so warm.
Oh.
How much of that do you have memorized?
I'm sure he's
the first few lines because I said I'd do a singy song of it.
You're good. I get the fucking Whopper redeemed stuck in my head.
Well,
I can recite the Burger King commercial by heart now, and
it's just your brand.
The thing is, I initially found that song when I stumbled upon the initial must be what men like meme that Adora did fucking a while back, and it's just I guess that is became the core memory of that song stuck in my head.
Yeah.
She did that before debut.
Yeah.
And then she reposted it like 3 times, and I've given her shit for being a reposter.
I only do a repost once, and I do that like a few hours after the initial post to kind of keep it up in the initial algorithm.
Uh-huh.
I repost it when I haven't posted something in 3 days, and I'm like, I need to do something so they don't think I'm dead.
Maybe they'll forget about me if I don't do it.
True.
I'm glad I don't post daily anymore.
Oh, I remember when I did that once.
What?
Never again. Post daily. And by post daily, I meant wake up at like 6 a.m. in the morning to edit a video and then put it out.
I'm so disappointed at how many people in my chat are talking about
High School DD.
light novels.
Yeah. My favorite one, chat, is it? Wait, hang on. Let me just make sure.
Don't say Sword Art Online.
No, actually, okay. I will say
no.
No.
Wait a minute.
Okay, genuinely, if you want a really good read of Sword Art Online, read Sword Art Online Progressive, which I think they made into a movie. I might be mistaken, but it is
the movie. I'll be able to pay more attention.
It
to
is the reimagination of like the very beginning of Sword Art Online, but from Asuna's perspective, and actually going through slowly each level.
I don't like her. It's fine.
I'm gonna progress this conversation. Or regardless of how you feel, you're a VTuber, and thus everyone here is a weeb, including yourself. I'm not.
Didn't you just talk about interspecies review or not?
Yeah, see, I wasn't the one who brought that up.
No, that's Horatius.
Get a start, sir. Even though, like, I almost did get the steelbook. Like,
of course you did.
What? No, the dealer was explaining. I didn't even know they had a steelbook of it. I was just fascinated by the fact that it fucking existed.
This element, the JoJo clone.
Yeah, look, the only lost media about that I need to find is the episode 1 that they dubbed before they realized, holy shit, the series is not by our standards, Funimation. We need to ditch it.
Oh my god.
They made a whole ass episode before dropping it.
They have so many. They've done that with too many series, and
Wait,
like, I
what?
find it really.
Introduced these reviewers. They didn't read the material of what they were dubbing, so they dubbed the whole episode before dropping it.
Correct.
So it's out there somewhere.
That's why I've never like enjoyed like, you know, former Crunchyroll. Wait, no, Funimation's the one that's gone now, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
Horatius, why you getting bigger?
I look at them. He's judging us with his clear blue eyes.
Wait, no, I just wanted to know what they scratched. That's just all, because I didn't get what.
He's becoming the great Deku tree.
Oh my god, tell me your wisdom.
Horatius of the background, what is your
just
wisdom?
Wait, Hora. Yes. But you enjoy Dungeon Meshi, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that was good.
Have you caught up to it?
I have not seen the last episode of the show right now because I've read it all the way through and I know what's going to happen. I know what has happened.
God, it's so good.
I read Dungeon Meshi back when it started. I read it all the way through I read it like weekly for the first 60 first 60 sets of it, and then I fell off. And then I came back a couple of years later and I finished it. To the point where like an old reference in one of my old D&D campaigns that I used to run is Bread Dwarf is just an homage to Senshi.
I love Senshi so much.
He and I are spirit animals of one another.
I love him. I have a friend who I constantly send Twitter pictures of Dungeon Meshi to every time I see Senshi. And then suddenly, just say that you're a Senshi stan. I'm like, but you like it too. What do you mean? So yeah, Balin looks even better now. Like, just saying. No, it's tragic, but
it's because of the bird boobies, isn't it?
Well, no, well, that too, but
the borbs.
Just looks hotter now.
What
then again, huh?
What does?
Balin looks hotter now.
Ugh, I genuinely. Ugh! When so I've been watching with my wife because she doesn't really like watch a lot of anime, but I was like, you really like this one, it's really good. And so her and I have talked about how like there's for an anime it has very little fan service. Almost all of it is on Senshi, which is fucking preem.
Yes.
And I don't like when Fallen like drops in, her boobies are just like fucking VTuber physics, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
What, they had excess budget. They had to put it somewhere.
I know, because then the next action sequence has more frames of animation than most of the episodes do. But like,
Yeah,
like
I was
good.
I was too busy watching that woman's head being splattered in that scene.
Yeah, it just, for me, Dungeon Meshi does a really good job of doing very little sexualization of its characters for its anime interpretation to have that so prominent, because it's like right there, and it is beautifully animated. It's some of the nicest animated movies I've ever seen, but it's like, it feels like they knew that when the show came out, the internet was not going to conduct themselves in a reasonable way, and they were going to like fawn over all the characters in it, which they did. But like,
I have to say, okay.
Which
So
one
if
your favorite,
you
Fanny?
no, okay. So now if you put it like, okay, Frieren and Dungeon Meshi are like pretty like good in the racing. They're like they're the reason why you have so much elf content on Twitter right now. But from what I've seen, the show Frieren gets looted way more than Dungeon Meshi.
That's true.
Because they draw the purple hair girl with massive boobs.
No, they also loot Frieren the fuck. Like a lot. Like a lot. Like, I think I see more Frieren Cooch than I see of the purple hair girl ever.
What algorithm do you have?
Artists that I want to commission. That's about it.
I've watched so many episodes. I've been gone too long. That's all good.
Wait, hold up. Wait, Vanny.
What?
You said that my algorithm is tainting yours, yet you're looking up artists. Give me the Freerun Cooch. Do that to me.
Oh my god.
Oh, you want the Freerun Cooch? Oh my god, bro.
Of course Tommy wants that.
No, you're looking up there.
Ooh, I heard the congestion in that laugh.
No, hold on. I have a cough. I have a cold, so I can't laugh too much because then I get a coughing fit.
Sorry.
It's still funny. I will make fun of you for it.
Sorry.
Hold on.
I will make fun of you.
Oh. I also really like what is her name? Teidu from Dungeon Meshi, the Oni girl.
Oh,
she's so tall and big. She's great. I love her. I love that like her first introduction is just I'm hungry.
Hungry.
You know, that's understandable.
That's just a mood.
You just walk into a room and you just get a sudden hunger.
I love her. She's so cute.
Very good character.
But no, I will say, like, as a very long time anime fan and certified weeb, I also have just grown to, like, you know, kind of like you said earlier, Horatius, just I've genuinely grown a disdain for, like, you know, trashy bits of just fan service for the sake of, like, hey, like, we don't have anything interesting going on right now. Let's get the fifth time this episode a shot between the female character's legs, framed by the legs and skirt. So
the camera angle meme.
Yep.
What do you mean? I love seeing Senji's panties.
Hell yeah.
I'm fine with Senshi. We need more of that. Like, it wasn't.
He's just always upside down. He's just always upside down, man.
He'd be tumbling.
I don't know. I feel like I remember in anime something like that. It was like, okay, nothing's going on. Let's have a subtle breeze come in and make her boobs shake 22 times.
That happens a lot. Yeah. So I'm gonna close the book on this anime chapter we're discussing by recommending that everyone go and watch Odd Taxi.
Oh yes.
What's that?
Odd Taxi. I gotta look that up.
It's very good.
It's the best.
Don't look up too much.
Don't look
Just
up
look
shit.
up the name.
Don't
look up anything.
And watch it.
Before
I like the designs.
You said Odd Taxi. Before this has nothing to do with Fake Taxi, right?
No, and it's not in the Crazy Taxi cinematic
because
universe.
people made me Google that one before, and that was not good.
No.
Vanny, were you on stream when you did that?
Yes.
Oh,
God damn it, ma'am.
Well, I didn't show what like I didn't like they didn't see it.
No,
but I
it's
was
okay.
Googling it.
I've had to do some dodging before. I was showing.
Oh no. The way I Google is I Google off screen, basically. Like I Google it, I talk about what I'm seeing, but I don't really like show what I'm seeing.
Smart.
That's pretty good ratings. I'll have to give it a shot.
Yeah, no, Odd Taxi is amazing. It's short, it's concise. It
Alright.
starts its story, it finishes its story. It's fucking brilliant, and this is my last statement on it. It is the best noir anime I have ever watched.
Yes.
Give me a Gretzko
Second.
vibes.
Agretzko? Nah,
Yeah.
I mean, visually, I hear you, but in no other way is it like that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Why is it called noir? Because it is a noir. It's a noir. Watch it. It's a noir.
Oh, like that old style jazz kind of in the background stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
God damn! I love jazz so much. Sorry,
You like
I
jazz?
I fucking
It's also
actually
got
do.
some nice sick
I,
beats in it.
I like jazz too. It's nice.
Hi, Tom. It's good to see you, buddy. You like jazz? Yeah. Get it out of your systems, everybody. You're very funny.
Chat, press 1 if you like jazz.
Hey, Jeff,
Wait,
you like
oh god.
jazz?
Where's my mouse?
Big Band's good too. I like Big Band.
Everyone's stumbling over themselves to bring back the
Tome-
tab and grab that.
Tome, I will fucking hurt you.
Sorry, I stimmed. I couldn't help myself.
Oh God. I don't mind.
How dare
going
you
for the
stimming
low-hanging-
yourself.
I don't mind going for the low hanging fruit, but that's just like. Oh, did you guys see it? Did you guys see what Tome said? Did you guys see what Tome said there?
Yeah, I did.
You guys see that? You see that in the chat box there?
I see the thing there.
I see it.
Ban
Yeah, ban me. Yeah.
Can we go with the we got one? Can I get some? I love that I have Keck W turned into ban me. It's the fucking best.
Oh, my favorite is turning ads into ban me.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta do that. Because right now I just have it as an auto mod word.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, I gotta do that.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
That, and I gotta turn the variations of it into that too, but just longer.
I just realized that I'm a VIP on someone's Twitch channel, and I had no idea that that was the case, and I'm genuinely touched.
Oh.
That's really sweet.
Yeah. Their favorite boulder eating dwarf.
Sorry, I'm gonna ignore maladaptive behavior. Vonnie, how are you feeling? You said you were dealing with some coughing earlier. What's going on?
I had a cold since Monday, so I was pretty much like low, sleeping a lot, coughing, throat hurt, headaches, runny nose, the usual, which is a cold.
Understandable.
It's not completely gone. Like I still sound a little bitty.
Yeah.
But it's better than before.
I'm glad.
Maybe next week I can at least go to my appointments.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
I do hope you feel better.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
It's okay. Oh no. Oh yeah, so Tom, the reason why I was giving you shit is because blurting out a reference is man. Is this the day that I out myself for being a crotchety old psych person? I just you know what? I am. I'm gonna gatekeep stemming. I'm gonna gatekeep stemming. I don't think that blurting out reference humor is a stem. Tell me, what the fuck is that?
Manfish.
Oh?
Damn it. What?
What did you do?
Motherfucker tried to fish in my channel.
Oh my god.
Or seems to be bumbling around the conversation. Stop. Have you guys heard my whole thing about why I don't like the fish thing?
No, I did not.
It's incredibly artificial chat engagement.
Oh,
What?
I thought people do it with points.
I mean, well, they do it with points, but like, it's not actual people chatting. It's just like fabricated non-chat. Like, it's people do that to make people have messages in the chat to like inflate their analytics of people chatting, because that's something that Twitch cares about.
Okay.
But I bought it.
Similar
Yeah,
with like
because
some
it's
point
fun.
games.
And I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad that you think it's fun. I'm not going to sit here and shame the literal dozens of my friends that use it.
I think it's more fun though if you customize it. If you have it, you should customize it so at least it fits to your specific community than just use the pre-default.
I'll say this. If you make a whole stream about the fish thing, the lurker fish thing, like if that's the whole stream, like if you take a stream and the whole thing is that you just like narrating the fishing command and like talking about it, and you want to like role play that you're on a boat and shit like that and like have some fucking fun with it, I think you could transform that relatively shallow content into something more sophisticated and interesting.
I love that because I think I saw someone, they played a fishing game, right? So they played a fishing game, and while they were fishing, they were like, oh, I caught just this and this. What did you catch?
Yeah, I think that's fun.
Yeah, like having fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I'm just imagining somebody just building an entire brand around just playing any game, but only the fishing mini game within that game.
That
I used to do and tackle character.
I used to do a series of streams on Sunday mornings where all I would do was load up, like I would stay in just chatting, and I would just like Subway Surfers it in one of the corners of my screen, and just go into a game and fish in it. Like I would load up Stardew Valley and just fish day in, day in, day in, day in. Go into Sea of Thieves and just fish for like 2 hours.
I need to go into Fortnite and just start fishing.
Yeah,
Destiny has fishing.
But I don't want to play shitty games like Destiny. And Fortnite.
Yeah. Okay, fair. Look, I can play a game and still call it trash, okay?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just gonna sit and hold E to fish.
That's not a fishing game, man. Like if it's not mechanically dense, then I don't want it. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, Vonnie. I didn't mean for you to catch a stray shot from me talking shit on Destiny and Fortnite.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't like Destiny. I don't give a shit about that one. I just like Fortnite, but that's because Fortnite is different now.
If you like Fortnite, then you should be friends with my friend Harby, and you should go check her streams out because she streams Fortnite, and she loves Fortnite, and she's always looking for people to play Fortnite with.
I'm still planning to play with Harvey at some point.
The problem is I usually just play with people in like my community because I am shit at it. Like I have fun, but I'm shit at it.
That's great because so is Harvey.
I remember I played with Kai on his birthday thing, and I was the one doing the worst. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
You're fine.
But yeah, guys, if you're not following Harvey, which is probably unlikely because Harvey and I hang out a lot, but if anyone in chat isn't following Harvey, please go follow her. She's very fucking funny and one of the rawest fucking VTubers out there.
We're just double checking to make sure I am.
You can feed your cat the fish you catch in Sea of Thieves? Holy shit.
Damn.
That's...
Fuck. I bought it recently, but I just can't seem to get into it.
What, Sea of Thieves?
Yeah.
I thought if you want someone, I'll gladly play with you. I love Sea of Thieves.
I just don't get it.
That's fair.
Frankly, it's also the first game that I would play in first person because usually I'm like a third person kind of gal.
Sure.
So it's like very Oomph, what's going on?
Yeah, it's hard to
What's
adjust.
happening? So I played it once. So I didn't get far.
That's all right. I will say this, because there's not really a lot of meta progression in Sea of Thieves, if the gameplay itself isn't fun, don't play it. Because, like, you can make millions and millions and millions of gold. All you can do with it is buy cosmetics.
Yeah.
So if the game itself is not enjoyable, you don't bother.
I gotta say, the cosmetics are kind of needed with how there's, like, literally no character customization else.
There's a lot of, like, body cosmetics as well. They're expanding that every year, update.
Mm-hmm.
But I do hear you. Like, you re-roll your body shape if you want, but it's not like you don't get to, like, go in there and very, very systematically change your character to look a very specific way. You kind of have to just, like, take one of the randomly generated bodies.
Okay. The thing is, I understand why they did that, and the reasoning is perfectly fine. The idea that they want people to be, like, more different than making the same character that they would do in every fucking game, understandably so. But why do they all have to be so fucking ugly?
That's funny.
I was rolling through there, and I was like, why are there 7 grandmas? Like, sorry, but I do not identify with this grandma. Please, give me something else. And then you sit there for an hour just re-rolling until you find, like, you know what? This one's not ugly. I guess I take this.
You know what I kind of think they could do? I think they could do to make that easier is, like, you know how when you're picking your character in Sea of Thieves, you can, like, reserve a character before you refresh the whole group.
Mm-hmm.
I would like it if you saved a couple of characters, you could, like, double lock in a character or two to be like, I want characters that look like this one.
Yeah,
Like,
or at least
adjacent to this.
Or at least to make it so you can lock gender in.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you lock in, like, 2 pirates, right? It's always going to be 50-50. So always half of the playable are going to be half women, half men.
Right.
Therefore, I'm getting a less wider range of women to play as, because there's also has to be men on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So at least, like, I don't know, separate those 2 so I don't have to look at the ones that I don't want to I don't want to play as.
What I'm hearing, Vonnie, is that you want another game to ask Tommy, are you a boy or a girl?
Yeah.
God damn it. No, that's okay. We just gotta hire that one schmuck as a dev.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Just every single side quest. Are you a boy or a girl?
A boy or girl.
I am your credit score, and I'm gonna get halved.
What's up, Skyheart? It's good to see you, buddy. It's been a while since we've talked.
But I gotta go. You guys have a good day. Also,
Good shit.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we are at the end of the stream today. We're gonna go, since we did a psychology education stream, we're gonna go over to my friend Sidere. They are obviously a psychology themed VTuber. They're doing some house flipping today, but I really, really like them. They are a mental health professional as well. They are also active in the field, and I hold them in very high regard. I think they just got their doctorate's degree, which is super impressive.
Nice.
So we're gonna show them some support. They're pretty new to content creation, so have some fun over there. And we're gonna hit them with the Dwarf psychology raid.
It's rock solid.
Fuck you. First things are so goddamn funny.
Oh, it's a dwarf butt! I love the dwarf butt.
Thanks, me too. And so does my wife. But I'll talk to the two of you in a few minutes. I'll be back. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you really enjoyed the psychology edutainment lecture concerning executive dysfunction. But now it's time to get out of my mind.
Good idea. Let's try that.